Okay, so now we are going to try to get through the rest of Aquine's whiny video about me where he says that his real problem with me is this, that I stick my nose in business where it doesn't belong, even though he didn't hear about me except for his sticking his nose in business that it doesn't belong in, according to his definition of sticking your nose in your business where it doesn't, sticking your nose in business that is not yours to stick your nose into, because according to him, it's commenting on videos that are posted on public forums, sticking your nose where it doesn't belong. And no. His real problem with me is the fact that I'm this instigator who tries to reignite shit, even though he was misconstruing the fact that the reason why I made a video in response to some things that one guy said to me was because the guy suggested that I wanted him to speak for me or was my hero or something like that. Like, yesterday I was y'all bitches hero for going after this nigga, but now I've been squashing. Today I'm like, no. I'm just telling you, you fell for his shit. I'm not telling you I needed you to speak for me. I never needed anybody to speak for me. Oh yeah, no. Akweezi's real problem with me is the fact that I try to get all these people to speak for me, and I want to be mad because people don't want to be a part of my beef, and like, no. I never asked anybody to speak on my behalf. I never asked anybody to join my team or brigade or anything like that. I don't have all these secret caucuses like all these other dudes where I'm asking people to call my show. And if you don't, you got to show everybody that I am solid and strong by making it like you guys all surround me. We have a strong team because you make me look good. I'm not sitting up here like Turtlefuck begging people for donations and begging people to tell me that even though I'm screaming all kinds of dysfunction, that no, I'm great at this. I'm the best. Come on. Oh, no. His real problem with me is that I'm this terrible parent. It's these poor judgment calls I make, even though he has no children. And even though he has absolutely no problem with questioning adults who verbally attack children, who pick fights with people's children, who pick fights with people and try to use their children in those arguments, children who have done nothing to these adults. He got no problem with that. He's got a problem with the fact that some kids are smart cookies who can laugh in the face of idiot adults. Idiot adults who seem to think that there's nothing that a child can possibly have, to contribute to a conversation intellectually when it comes to, matters that adults are discussing. You guys are not talking about brain surgery or rocket science up in her. So I'm just, giving my response. Fair is fair. We're going to go ahead and go back to the point where we left off, which was about halfway through. Let me get my screen share on and share. Okay, so I got to 16. Taught me what my child needs to worry about being a good girl, getting good grades in school, preserving her innocence, and following instructions from her parents. But unfortunately, her parents are too stupid to give her decent instructions. Okay, like he just surmised my child's entire life, based on some shit that he believes that it's not true, in a video that was not addressed, to this dude. Oh God, he won't rewind it back to the fact that we're defending ourselves against the dude lying about us. That's not a problem. That's not an issue. The dude being a fucking liar who attacks people's families, that's not an issue. The issue is when I turn on the camera and it's me and my husband and my child and we're talking about this bullshit because I am allowing my child to speak, because it's being suggested to me through people like your idiot ass. You're telling me that, there's something wrong with me as a parent and my child, that there's something wrong with her. And I'm like, you know what? She can speak for herself as to what kind of person she is. If you're worried about her being damaged, that's what a child psychologist would do. You guys swear that you know so much turtle shit. He's a psychologist, right? That's what he tried to claim. You don't have a problem with a guy claiming to be a psychologist and not being a psychologist and using that as an excuse to make up bullshit about my child in a video, right? Got no problem with that. So you want to believe that the guy is a psychologist, and the psychologist can look at, my child's ability to respond to questions that I ask her truthfully and honestly and without any sort of insecurity or hesitation or um, she didn't, none of her meaning was misconstrued. Her words were very clear and well chosen. I mean, there was no problem with what my child said or did. You guys tried to demonize a child that you accused of being 7, learned was 9, who is now 11, and who you still try to lie about and demonize to this day by saying that she did things she never did, just because it makes you guys feel like men, or it makes you feel like you're better than me. I'm a bad parent. That's what it is. Her child shouldn't have been addressing this grown man. Well, she wasn't. We were making a video that was, addressing a subject. Once again, how come you don't have a problem with the grown man lying about the lady and her kid and her husband? How come you don't have a problem with that, dude? How come you don't have a problem with that? You don't have a problem with the dude lying. You don't have a problem with the dude stalking. You don't have a problem with the dude slandering. You don't have a problem with the dude threatening. You don't have a problem with the dude driving all up in my neighborhood and making videos. What if I made videos all up in his neighborhood? You're talking about me speaking about his bullshit online for a year? What if I drove up to his neighborhood and just gave myself some excuses to be posting pictures of myself and videos of myself walking around his neighborhood? What would you have to say about that? Gee, I wonder. Well, you're his little attack dog. You're certainly not mine. You're not on my payroll. You don't work for me. Nobody does. I'm not over here hiring trolls like other people. Have you noticed that that's going on right now? That's popular. People hiring trolls. Now, I gave a lot of people too much credit. I thought they were doing their own trolling because I can tell by languaging, because that's something that is not a difficult thing with people in my bloodline, you know, my mother's side of the family. Nobody has an issue with language, okay? So I understand what is being said, and I understand whether or not it's factual, whether or not it's opinion, whether or not it's projection, conjecture, whether or not it is something that blank and honest, or somebody is, doing a whole lot of bullshitting. And you're doing a whole lot of bullshitting right here. You're saying all these things in order to make it seem like you're justified in your angry little judgmental little position. You came up on me on some wrong backwards ass shit. You've never been able to accept the fact that you were wrong for that in the first damn place. And if you're going to be able to walk up to me and dish out that kind of shit, then you should not be surprised when, I sit you back down in your high chair and spoon out some for you. So, okay, I'm going to continue to play this. I'm going to do my damnedest not to make too many pauses because I'm personally bored by going through these same points over and over again for this knucklehead. But I think it just needs to be done for the sake of, like I said, just the dialogue, the free forum. There are other people who are going to have to deal with idiots like this online, walking up to them and asking them stupid ass questions based on shit that they think is true, that they made up. Anyway, proceeding 1541. As psychotic as you are, you would sit back and use that child as leverage so that you have a reason to run around and justify the stupid shit you've been doing for over a year straight. Now, what is the stupid shit that I've been doing for over a year straight? I'd like him to describe whatever the stupid shit that is that I've been doing for over a year straight. What he doesn't like, what he described as the stupid shit I was doing was, hey, every time somebody says something about Turtle Face, you have an opinion about it. Sansaray, Maya, Colonel, this and that, everybody, you got an opinion. Yeah, I guess you had to be in all those places to see what my opinion was and to see the fact that I was there lending my opinion or giving information or giving my side of the story or letting people know that, yes, this asshole did lie about, attack, slander my entire family and make these, way off color sexual remarks about my kid. Like, Akwizi, did you see the video where the guy was saying, oh, this lady probably fucks dogs and her husband has the family for sale on Backpage, and I still don't even know what that is. All of you nasty bastards who are lonely and go to the lonely spaces of the internet know what something called Backpage is. I do not know what it is. I don't need to go there, you know. So this this dude doing all these things isn't a problem for you. That's not a problem, right? Him saying these things, not a problem. You're saying that my child's very existence, or the fact that I allow her to speak as to, how she feels about the fact that grown people, and you're swearing that she's not mature enough, to handle the subject matter. So she's the subject matter, according to these grown people who have no business talking about her. That's not a problem for you. But the fact that she can respond to the fact that she should not be subject matter for these grown people, you think that that means that she's somehow deficient, or, she should not be allowed to, she's somehow not protected because, are you fucking kidding me? Listen, I have to let my child go to school and be around adults whom I cannot hire myself. I did not approve every person that she is in school with. You know those stories? Let's look, since we've got the screen share up. Let me make sure that I'm still on air. Yes, I am. Okay, so we got our little screen share up, and let's look up, let's look up the word school. And look up school in the news. Okay. Kansas City high school students complain over retouch. You won't believe some of the random reasons Chicago has closed schools. That's a good one to watch. I'm going to watch that one. Chicago in the news twice today on the random words that we look up. I'm just going to save that and go back. Let's see. Should schools teach personality? Brian remembered boys who hear on school that is school had a brother school. Da 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 da. Flu strep throat outbreak in Oklahoma. Ugh. Virtual school closings and delays. Magnet. Bear with me because I've just typed in the word school. Who gets on the bad school list? Rancher takes advantage of Orlando Pool or Hispanic school focuses this week. Balanced school. All boys school. Coach in public school. Bullied boy's dad sues Eugene School District for $600,000. Okay. Let's check that out, all right? And then we'll go back and see what that teen's offensive whatever thing is. All right, so we see bullied boy's dad sues Eugene School District for $600K. Eugene, Oregon. Yeah, I've been through Eugene, Oregon, because I used to date a guy from Oregon. Two guys from Oregon, actually. All right. A father who says his son was bullied on the playing field last year has filed a $600,000 lawsuit against the Eugene School District. Pardon me. Gregory Dang says Cal Young middle school officials left students unsupervised during a lunch period last May in which 4 older boys beat his son. The victim sustained bruising to his face, head, neck, and torso, and he continues to suffer psychological damage and pain, according to the lawsuit. Carrie Delph, a school district spokeswoman, declined comment, telling the Register Guard that attorneys have to review the lawsuit filed Wednesday. According to the lawsuit, I think it should say according to the lawsuit, I guess. According to the lawsuit, the incident began when one of the bullies intentionally threw a football at the child's head. Dang's son and one of the boys then got into a fight. They separated, but another boy quickly tackled and punched the victim. The other boys then joined in, making it 4 against 1 before other students intervened and freed the victim. The lawsuit asserts that school officials knew or should have known that the attackers had a history of intimidating, harassing, and assaulting younger students, and that the officials failed to meet their responsibility of keeping students safe. Police investigated the attack, and all 4 boys faced being charged with assault. Instead, their cases were settled. And all 4 boys faced being charged, but instead their cases were settled. Okay, well, faced all boys. I don't know why they worded it that way, but anyway. Instead, their cases were settled in December when they and their parents entered into formal accountability agreements with court officials. The agreements require the youths to take certain steps, such as completing counseling or community service in exchange for not having charges filed in juvenile court. Principal Kim Waltree, emailed parents June 3rd to address what she characterized as a troubling incident. Watry did not identify any of the boys in the email, but she said that their behavior is extremely unusual at our school and it is absolutely not acceptable. Now, she says that this is not usual for our school. This is unacceptable. The lawsuit says that these kids had a history of intimidating, harassing, and assaulting younger students. This guy is suing because his kid had all these injuries, so there's a lot of things going on here. I have to send my child to school, and this is in Eugene, Oregon, and let's just look up Eugene, Oregon, because let's be thorough here. Google can be your friend. Eugene, Oregon. Let's look up Eugene, Oregon, and look up some images in Eugene, Oregon, and the people of Eugene, Oregon. Oh, that's precious. Are these the precious youth of Eugene, Oregon? Eugene, Oregon anarchist. Eugene, Oregon, some lady and some statues. Eugene, Oregon, protest downtown with a little white girl with dreadlocks. You know what that means? We're talking about some hippie-dom, okay? Kids who want to be killer muse. Hippie patriarchy. There we go. Hippie-dom. Hippie kids in Eugene, Oregon. Okay. Yeah. We're talking about people who march for nature. Occupy Wall Street, Eugene, Oregon. All right, this is the Eugene Occupy. Look at that's some hippie font right there. Look at that. You see that? These people, they knit all those sweaters and hacky sacks themselves. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just saying this to say that this is in places where, people who are watching this, who are being particularly judgmental, would say are good, quote unquote, good neighborhoods, because of the color of the general populace. But I happen to know that these places are also full of a lot of like stuff like heroin, everywhere that's like steeping or seeped in one color of people, is not necessarily going to promote one kind of culture. And, stereotypes are only true to a limited degree. That's why they're stereotypes and not facts. So I don't ascribe to stereotypes. People have to do what they got to do in front of me in order for me to see who they are. Now, let's see. We were listening to him babbling about stuff, and I was looking up. Yeah, the reason why I was looking up the schools, and let me actually, let me reopen the closed tab. Oops. Yeah, go back. Okay, so yeah, teens offensive farting ignites fight at Staten Island High School in New York. Okay, South Richmond High School in Staten Island, New York may become a fart-free zone following an unfortunate classroom farting incident. You're kidding. Wait, is this fake? This can't be real. Inquisitor? Is Inquisitor fake? I don't know. Pardon me. I'm not up on all like the fake school voted. Let's see, date and yet to make school. Argentina Samba pays tribute to Pope. Faced with lawsuits, city argues school leadership. I mean all this to say, I'm sending my child to a place where she is outside of our care, and there are other adults in charge of the atmosphere around her. That means she has to have her wits about her. She has to have some sense. She has to have some kind of sense of control over her own space and her own body. She has to protect herself. Jessica Bonnet Acker, 8 hours ago, teacher arrested for illicit sexual. Waiting for this to load. Let's see. Here's this Inquisitor again. Okay, maybe this is arrested for illicit sexual affair with Alabama boy. Okay. So, and they cite the Daily Mail as a source. McCutcheon teacher, coach arrested for child solicitation. Dance teacher arrested in connection with sex with a minor. Ex-Stanford teacher convicted of sex with a student. Former teacher can't stop having sex with teens. Fresno County teacher arrested for inappropriately touching. Former North Carolina teacher convicted of having sex with student. Pennsylvania teacher arrested for selling heroin. Teacher arrested for DUI. Teacher arrested for enticing child. Okay, this is all just, I just put in like teacher arrested for the news, okay? And all of this stuff is from January, okay? From as early as the 7th, which is like 3 or 4 days ago, okay? You get what I'm saying? I have to send my babe off every day, and we have to trust that she has her wits about her and is able. So yes, she is mature enough to be able to relate, what was said in a conversation between her and one of her teachers, because if she has some homework that she needs to do and there's a project, she's going to have to be able to translate to me what it is that her teacher required from her. And most of her teachers are cool. They're really good about having their instructions available in most places. Her school, has instructions available online, and they have instructions that are given printed out, and they have instructions that are given verbally, and they're printed and they're up in the class. But there is always one teacher that has something to prove and just can't stand their job no more. And we remember this, right? Don't you remember being in school and having a teacher that's just like, do you like teaching or what? Because you seem like you just here to be an asshole to people. Like, why are you always yelling at us? What's wrong with you? You're looking for an excuse to yell at us all the time. Okay, so, we can have those. And I need her to be able to know how to protect herself, how to have, a sixth sense about protecting herself, not to think that she got to be afraid of everybody at every turn, but to know that, what a thing is what it is. You don't trust a person just because their title is teacher or their title is cop or their title is soldier. You know, you don't just trust a person because their title is parent. You trustworthy traits. And this is where you look for what trustworthy is. You look at your friend in the dictionary. Okay, you can look this up. Knowledge is power. You can look up knowledge irrelevant of what people want for you to be looking up. Like you if you don't like this book, you can look in 10 other books. Knowledge is open to you. This is what I teach my child. So when she has questions, I answer those questions honestly for her so she's able to navigate around her world sufficiently. And for you to suggest that there's something wrong with her being able to respond to a person who had no business addressing any of my family members in the way that they addressed them in the first place. For you to say that there's something wrong with her, there's something wrong with us, but there's nothing wrong with that person, and you never bothered or addressed that person, means that you are twisted. You are biased. You're not playing fair, and you're not paying attention to what's really going on. You're paying attention to what you wish was going on. You're giving your pardon me, I'm pouring some tea. Okay, so you're giving your hero, all the allowances and all the benefits, and you're saying, other people are bothering this guy, and no matter what it is, they're bothering this guy. You've been following this guy around for a year. It's not hard to watch the guy's videos. How come people who like him, how come, Homo Nation can like him and they can watch everything and be there every night? Hey, we're here. Let's high five everybody. We like him. We like him. We're all here together night after night liking him, supposedly, right? The 2 or 3 people in the comment section that are actually real. So how come these people showing up over and over again and following this guy for a year is fine? But a lady who happens to monitor content that comes out in opposition to the guy, because I happen to know that what the first thing that the guy does when people oppose him is to start false flagging them and slandering them. The fact that I pay attention to that activity, that's a big old problem for you. But the dude committing this shit is not a problem. Come on, dude. No way, no day. that you make any sense with any of this. Okay, I think I got away from the point a little bit, but let's continue that from 1555. That right there put you in the same category as a diabolical beast, a two-legged freak walking the face of this planet who doesn't even care about the upbringing. And wait, I got hold on. Did he say salvage? Hold on. He made up another word, and I gotta get that one. He said something about me being psychotic and a two-legged beast, and then he said something about salvage. I don't care about my child, and I'm trying to salvage her. Hold on. Hold on. Okay, he's saying that yes, that I use her as a shield in order to, justify the things that I'm doing. Diabolical beast, two-legged freak. He says salvage toward their own growth of that child. Salvage toward their own growth of that child. You cannot speak to me, sir. I just don't even know why you try. Okay, so he's suggesting that I'm committing salvage, and yeah. And he bases this on saying that, the model parent, psychopaths, when he, goes around attacking other people and then throwing up videos of his child, and then when he says, this upsets me, these people, look at what they did, um, I he doesn't have any problem with the Turtleface complaining about people talking about his family. As a matter of fact, he supports Turtleface's complaining about people's, attacks on his family, even though most of the what Turtleface reports as attacks on his family are imaginary things that he makes up because he's been caught, attacking someone else's. He had to go and make a big deal out of saying that, oh, people call my daughter all kinds of this and that, when, I have yet to see many people besides, Minty, who he's all chummy with, calling his daughter too many horrible things, like, nobody with a pulse. But you see what he boldface likes to call other people's children, and you don't have a problem with it. You see the way he attacks other people's children. You see the way he says that, he hates to see little black girls, and you don't think that is salvaging the development of his little black girl. I don't even like to see little black girls, says a little black girl's father. My husband never says these things about black people or black children. He doesn't have a problem with black people. He doesn't run around saying that, his daughter's black half is an issue for him. He does not say that his wife's blackness is an issue for him, And I'm saying this for him from a father perspective, not saying like the white guy, because I know that like, oh, him being white, that just negates his humanity in the eyes of a lot of people in this pit. But I'm talking about how him as a father, as an example, or my father, my father doesn't hate seeing black females walking around, and he doesn't say this, he doesn't report this. And if my father did feel this way, or my dad, I have a father and a dad. Now, my father, incidentally, likes, I don't know, he likes women. He is sort of like color conscious on my father's side of the family, not on my dad's side of the family, and not on my mother's side of the family. There isn't really any like color consciousness, color weirdness, but on my in my father's family, there kind of is. They tend to like lighter people, and I didn't grow up with them, so I don't have any reference for that. I grew up with my mom, and I grew up with her teaching, which is all about inclusiveness and harmony and love and appreciation for people who are harmonious and loving and appreciative. And the rest of that shit can go in the trash, okay? Doesn't matter what your label is. I don't care if you're black, white, female, young, old, Christian, Protestant, Catholic, Muslim, anything. If you're an asshole, you're an asshole. If you stink, you stink. So, Aquini, you're trying to suggest that, yeah, I'm this beast, beastity beast, because, you think that I'm trying to use my child to justify my own actions. And once again, you have no problem with the guy using my child to attack me. You have no problem with the guy attacking my child and lying. You got a problem, though, with me or my child defending ourselves against those attacks. With that, you have a problem. And I say that is your problem, dude. I continue to make it clear to you that I hear you. I hear what your problem is, but I maintain that that problem is yours. It has nothing to do with being mine. It doesn't belong to me. Okay, so moving right along, we're at 1610, which is really 5 seconds after where I left off last time. And let me make sure that I'm still on and going. He is saying, oh wait, hold on, let me check a text here. Okay, let's see. Okie dokie. Coolio. Alright, looking for things. Okay, now, let's see. At 1610, let's see what he says from henceforward. I will never understand this for the life of me. Now, here's the next thing that you said that I find deeply disrespectful that you'd even bring this to my attention. And you would say something like, well, you made the video titled the way you did because my husband is white. Since we've opened up a door to that one, and to something that you opened up a door, because I never spoke about your husband, I never mentioned his name, I never had nothing to say about or to him. Well, I don't know. I think I probably mentioned that. Let me go to these videos right now because I want to be thorough here. Yeah, let's just look at all the uploads. And I will let you know why I mentioned you mentioning him. And if you didn't, you didn't. And I got no problem with that. But it sounds like you're about to say something negative about him, so it means that you have negative thoughts about him that, you chose not to express until you felt like you had a reason. Maybe. Let's see. I think it's like around here. Here we are. Okay. So this was the other video that you had made that was, yes, this was Genie, right? Genie. I'm like, oh, I can't. Oh, God. Okay, so let's see. Let's go to all comments here. And I will look at all of the comments. Look at all of them right now. Like we're not going to sit here and go through all these damn comments. But there I am. Hi. Let's see. And yes, I'm saying, look, no person, no evidence of a person here, because you had recently said something in a video response to a person where you were saying, oh, you're a person who, shouldn't be talking shit to me because nobody listens to you because look at your numbers. And I was like, did he just brag about his freaking numbers? Okay. Sharon. Let's see, what am I looking for? Oh yeah, the word husband. Okay. Here we go. Daughter, you're right. There's something sexually. Okay. In response to you're right. There's something sexually strange going on between Gina Burlesque, her daughter, and her white husband. Social services needs to investigate Gina Burlesque and find out what is really going on in that household. What is also very strange is that woman who is supposedly married to a white man spends so much time trolling the channels of black men. I think that white man is pimping her and abusing her daughter. Maybe both are abusing her daughter. Now, you see, who Come on, dude. Like, you don't have any problem with people making these kinds of suggestions about my family. Do you feel like that's what's really going on with my family? Look at this. Prosecutor describes Dwight Malachi York's child sex abuse. This is a person. Dwight Malachi York admits to molesting children. Here goes a person who's, 7 years ago video. When did they like this? I can't tell when they liked this, but this person is obsessed with that subject matter. Let's just go ahead and get my block on, because this was from a while ago, so this is probably on an old block list. Oh, this is their uploads. Oh, somebody needs to investigate because, what's going on in that child? There's something sexually strange. This is the kind of stuff that was going all around about me all of a sudden after 6 years of peace, you fucking weirdo. And I knew that it was all trickled down from that stupid turtle face trolling. Nobody thinks this about my family. Nobody who knows us would ever fucking suggest in a million years that happens. And like I said, I made a video where my child can speak for herself. You could, it just, there's no, good Lord. There's no danger, for that child in this household. And like I was saying before, we have to send her out to school where, like I was just showing you, there's teachers getting arrested for fiddling with kids all the time. I am not raising a child to be afraid to report that somebody tried to do something inappropriate to me and I need to report this and I need some help. We are not the people who are, victimizing or victimizers. We're not that type. We don't want our child to be feeling like she has to fall prey to people like that. As a matter of fact, I'm adamant about teaching girls better than that. So, here I am, like, in this, comment section defending myself because of things like this being said about me. Her sex life has to be horrible. I feel sorry for her husband having sex with her while turtle face on my, no, honey, I'm not attracted to gay guys. And don't make me bring up again how, tampon tea bags has got a serious muscle fetish. He has a crazy muscle Jones, and he's a tranny chaser, and I'm not into that. Never mind the fact that he looks like a turtle in the face. Never mind the fact that I'm not attracted to people who think of children as slutty. Never mind the fact that I'm not attracted to people who are so fucking insecure that they have to yell and scream at other people in order to make themselves feel better. Anyway, Turtleface's name, now her husband left her, blah, blah. Oh, yeah, that too. Trying to be like her husband left her. He's going to leave her, blah, blah. He's married, using their husbands. So, okay, I'm replying to Isaac Payne, not replying to you. Let's see. Do you realize this is your problem? You were caught showing your little daughter a porn video that passed for a music video. It was not a porn video. Post your daughter watching a porn video. It was not a porn video. And there were a lot of people who posted responses to Erykah Badu's Western esotericism. There were a lot of responses, tons and tons and tons. A lot of them were comical. There were people who were doing comical remakes. I don't know. It's almost like, Luke Skywalker or when Baby Got Back came out, and, people were like tripping and not wanting their kids to see that. And look at how tame that is these days compared to, other things that are out. Like, for some people, this is a big old deal, but for me or people in my line, which is performance art. Let's see, Jennifer Let's posting this video is a fake account registered today, by the way. Don't waste your time arguing with it. Maybe there was a fake one in here. This certainly wasn't. I know this was mine. My comfort and awareness around dwelling is a strange man. She's a lunatic, actually making videos naked very soon. Oh Lord Jesus. Okay. You are right. Something white husband. Sorry for her husband. The husband. The husband. Okay. You didn't say anything. But maybe some other people said some things. With the word white. Oh my God. Okay. White. The Genie Ghetto Gag Burlesque crazy. White man. Weird crazy. Weird crazy. Weird. Whoa crazy. Whoa weird. Buyer's remorse, marrying a poor white man. Anyway, have white baby, parade around her baby is white, and all the white, Negro bedwench and white. Oh God. Okay, yeah, here, their colonel trying to explain herself. She's like, trying to say that, we sent white people after him. It was Duluth that introduced the white atheist and not us. And she's replying to this person. Let's see. Okay, here's what you have to say. I guess let's just see what you have to say in this comment section. Let's see. Let's see. And you're responding to Leo July. You must be another one of Styles supporter, huh? So I guess this video must must have. Here, this should be must have. H-A-V-E, have. Must have somehow hurt your feelings. Somehow is one word. You can say somehow, I believe. Yeah, somehow. Must have somehow hurt your feelings. For the record, I had a beef with Styles a while ago, and I seen him. Okay, anyway, I'm gonna stop correcting your shit because you all sensitive. I seen him pulling the same bullshit on Tommy that he once did to me. So if I want to call it out, then that's exactly what I'll do. Okay, so you are responding to yourself sticking your nose into the turtle face Styles conflict. Well, look at that. Well, look at that. Is that what I had brought up to you? I mean, is that something that I brought up when I said, like, look at you getting mad at people sticking their nose in business and you sticking your nose in business? I don't know. I can't remember. I had to dig up the archives. Now Jeannie was trying to be slick. Her whole video make her sound envious with the beat around the bush. Beat. That's vegetable. Beat around the bush insults she was throwing at me. No, I'm pretty direct with my insults that I throw at you. Oops. Dang it. Okay, so let's see what else you had to say. So I guess it's another one of those socks accounts you've been talking about, huh? Are you aware that this woman is one of your supporters? Did you know this woman asked me to understand what you've been through the past few months? Okay, you talk about Momiss, that you've been through so much. I'm like, you guys overestimate your impact here. Like, this is the internet, and I'm using it just like you are. I've been through so much, and asking me to be nice because you've been through some. I don't need nobody to fight for me. See, you were saying that I was trying to get people to rally for me and be on my team, but right here you were admonishing me for saying, look, I don't know who this troll person is, but I don't know who they are. They're not there. All I'm doing is pointing out that you, who ran around saying, hey, nobody listens to you, and look at my numbers and look at your subs and look at my subs, and looking at that should just let you know that you don't need to be addressing me at all and blah, blah, blah. Okay. So when I point out that, okay, well, look at your comment section. I don't see no real people. I see 1, 2, 3 real people out of all these comments. Okay. And I said, this person, this isn't real. That's just what I was saying. You looked at that as me like straight up attacking the lady when I was just, it's like, no, I'm being totally impersonally matter of fact. Like, the fact of the matter is, if you've never heard this person's voice or seen their face, you don't know who they are. And you don't know if they could be somebody that you already know of behind a troll account, because haven't you seen Catfish? So I'm just going to point out in your comment section just the fact that, you're sitting over here being a braggart about shit that you can't even prove. Like, oh, all my blah, my subs. I'm like, your numbers ain't shit. So, and especially since I know that there's, like a fake up in here, just manipulating shit. I've seen him do it. So I guess it's another one of those stocks accounts you've been talking about, huh? Are you one of the I'm like, I'm just saying it could be a stock account. You don't know whether or not it is. And I am proving to you right here that I'm not looking for team members or people to support me. And I'm not biased when it comes to me pointing out the truth of the matter. Like a troll account is a troll account. Let's see. He's in New York City. Oh, wait. I never have a problem with your comments, man. Feel free to leave whatever amount of comments you like. It's all good. Like, okay, in this room, I don't have any problem with it. Okay. Oh, you can rest assured I'll do just that. But I find it how funny you say waste of space, bum ass nigga. Styles roasted me when he made a 30-minute video and said nothing that applied to me. Okay, that's about that. Yeah, the Styles thing you were really sensitive about. This woman is looking for fam, and now it seems like she's trying to use me to do so. So on top of that, I think she's a little happy that I won't join her anti-turtle campaign. Like, see, I don't need anybody to join a campaign for me. I'm just telling the truth according to what I see. You don't have to like it. You don't even have to agree. You just won't be censoring my right to say it. And I haven't said that you tried to do that. I'm just telling you that, this has been my experience. The guy attacks people, says he didn't do it. He trolls them to fucking death. And idiots like you defend him and defend his lies, spread his lies, and you fall for it. You fall for the fucking bullshit. Hold on just a second. Hola. Oh, I don't know. I mean, 3 and 3, I guess. Uh, yeah, 3 and 3 for now. That should be enough. Thank you. Okay. Okay. Let's see. Getting some composition notebooks and folders and stuff. For sure. Let's see. Genie need to be put back in the bottle. Okay, so let's see. 7. That question would hold more relevance if I had taken down older video conflict videos made in the past. Short and sweat. Short and sweat. Sweet is okay. Anyway, because I could care less what you anybody thinks. It's my YouTube channel. Okay, in response to what I said. Now I don't know. Like this is back when it was not giving like a threaded response thing, so you had to like you can't really tell when people. It's like in reply to so and so, but it's not right underneath that comment. So I don't know what he's responding to that I said, okay, I made this video down there 6 months ago and you were the main person trolling on this video complaining about fake subs, but you're just now seeing this video. You missed the bus a long time ago. See, like the bus, like I'm not trying to catch a damn bus, dude. And it doesn't matter when I respond to the video. Like you said, it's still up. It's up. Like you're referring to videos that you said in 2011 that you posted in 2011 as being relevant and indicative of the fact that you speak about current events and current issues. So, it's fine for me to respond to a video that's 6 months old. Damn, dude. Okay, yeah, I'm sure she's going to make a video about this, but as usual, we'll have no valid points because she hasn't been able to make a valid point out of all 3 videos she made about me. No, I'll make valid points, all right. Jeannie never called you a fag in her video. That's true. She said you were chased around by faggots. That's true. You asked Jeannie to stay in her business. However, you didn't stay in your business. The fight was between Tommy and Styles. You found some way to exist. Thank you. That's all I was saying. Okay, I remember that. Like, the Styles thing. I was like, isn't this funny? Look at you getting all up in and defending Turtle Face to Styles, but you're telling everybody else to stay out of your business and stuff. That's funny of you. Jenny just exposed herself. Who is this? This person does not even exist. I promise you, this person doesn't exist. If this person exists, I'll send Turtle Face $1. Let's see, liked. There's no proof of existence here. What up, YouTubers? We're gonna keep it real. So if you can't stand the truth, go find another Disney channel and keep the cartoon shit landed. It's fake. Fake. Very fake. Fakey fake. Okay, so let's go ahead and continue. I really do want to get done. I'm just pointing out that if I mentioned you saying something about my husband, it was probably based on, and you know what, let's go ahead and peruse this video, I guess, and let's see if you mention him at all. It was probably based on, me making a presumption after reading the comment section. And it's a mistake that is human. It is not one that I'm afraid to admit or apologize for. However, I reserve my apology after I hear what it is you had to say. You were holding me. Oh, let's see. You chose to come to this video. There's no title. Okay. Okay, I'm listening to him to the shaming tactic insults. Funds. He found it ridiculous how I made fun of Styles. And something one of his comments. But I didn't deliver. Yeah, you did me mean and everything. Please don't say anything like because I can feel on. But it's sad because it everybody do. Yes, we watch it. Oh my goodness, we watch everybody do. Check the car, check ketchup, all over everything. They litter, certificate, all over it. They have no damn clothes. Nobody gives a shit. So that's my point. Art is subjective like that, and it never ceases to amaze me just how people can be that way. How they can be so judgmental of other people's artwork because of their own um, prudeness or their own fears or their own insecurities, their own lack of understanding, and then later on that art that was so controversial in its day just becomes like nothing, just nothing, like 5-10 years up the road, just nothing, like, oh my god, you know think about bathing suits, and the fake puritanical moral code in this stolen country, it's a constant source of amusement, how people try to act like they're good people because of the clothing that they wear, like it's a priest collar, look, that means that if he messes with those little boys, he did it for the Lord. Ugh. Anyway, okay, so let's see. Okay, we're still on air, and I'm going to try to get through a little bit more of this. He's going to talk about my husband, and he may not have talked shit about the man before. So if I suggested that you did, and I was wrong about that, my apologies for making a suggestion or an accusation, that wasn't true without investigating, because I can't stand it when people do that. Obviously I'm constantly talking about and railing against people going off the deep end doing shit like that. But I don't go off the deep end, obviously. If you see me going, oh, Quiney is trying to, attack my husband, and Quiney said something mean about my husband, calm your tetas. I saw some comments, and I just wanted to say, just for your information, like, all of y'all, y'all got some issues. Now, you, quite honestly, I haven't seen you do too much of the bitching and moaning about race and stuff when it comes to interracial relationships, but you'll do it just when it comes to like black people in general. Like you just have a problem with black people and being black, or black people who do things that you don't like. You wish that they wouldn't. So you go, the benefits of interracial dating, benefits of interracial, black women's lack of respect for black men. Yeah. So you I don't know, you approach the subject. You have your feelings about it. I'm guessing that your feelings are probably, loony, like the rest of you, what comes out of your mouth. Like I'm guessing that you're biased, that you're thinking that it's cool when dudes do it and it's not cool when chicks do it, because when they do it, it's because they got some kind of ulterior motive. That's my guess. I could very well be wrong. You could very well not have any kind of prejudice like that at all. So I guess I will now find out what it is that you have to say about my husband. Okay, let's see. 1647. Since you want to bring it up into the equation, let me go and give you my opinion or my assessment. I have a deep-seated problem with your husband. That is not for the reason that you think it is. I have an issue with you, and it's not for the reason that you think it is. Overall something. A problem with your husband is not because he's white. It's not because he's married to a black woman. It's not because he's a biracial child. I care less about that. Who you deal with, who you choose to marry, who you sucking and fucking, is none of my damn business. So when you try to bring this as an argument to my attention, even though I've never addressed it, this right there shows that you don't know how to engage what has been said about you. But my issue with your husband is not because you're married to a white man. It's not because your husband is white. It's not because your child is white. Listen how he just said that twice. I don't care about that. He just did this. He just said, my issue with you is not because, you have a white husband, because your child is biracial. My issue with your husband is not because he has a black wife, because your child is biracial. My issue with you is not that. That's not my issue with you. That's not my issue with you. My issue is not that. My issue with you is that, that's what takes him so long. He just repeats himself too damn much. Oh, Lord. Because I feel any man that is married to a woman, black, white, whatever, you need to have certain characteristics to consider yourself a man. My problem with your husband is simple. Your husband is a flat out fucking bitch. There's no other way I can sum him up. He's one of the biggest pussified simps that I've ever seen in my entire life. That's so funny that you've ever seen in your entire life. It's like there's probably like 2 videos, that are posted right now. You can actually even hear my husband speaking, So how can you make, these summations? He's the most pussified man you've ever seen before in your entire motherfucking life. Why is that? Because he hasn't addressed your Lord and Master. Why should he? I mean, according to, tampon tea bags hasn't done anything that it needs to be addressed. He ain't done anything that bad. I don't know. We'll see what you have to say about the pussifications. I can't understand how a man operates the way he does, and I'll give you some examples. And what you're pretty much doing is you got his nuts in a glass jar, sticking his balls, and you hand it to him whenever you decide or feel that he's earned it. See, I can't get it with you guys. Like, you guys, on the one hand, you want to say, I got his dick and balls in a glass jar, and I give it to him when he's earned it. On the other hand, you want to say, I'm this bed wench. I'm a bed wench, and I'm this, I'm as good as a slave. I'm bought. Yeah, I'm his property. I'm nothing. I'm low. He's above me. And then you are sitting here trying to say, okay, I got his dick and nuts in the jar, and he's a pussified simp. It's funny. It's funny. I think you guys really just kind of like have problems and you move the goalpost. If it can't be this problem, it's got to be a next problem. If it can't be the next problem, it's got to be the next problem. You guys don't know me. You don't know him. And you can't, qualify us. We're, happy people. We respect each other. We're in a healthy relationship. Our child is healthy. She's happy. We're cool. You guys think there's a problem with us because Turtleface came along and lied about us, and you are still trying to act like this idiot, this blood-sucking, lying, slandering, stalking, trolling, e-begging, squatting pervert is right in what he says about me. And there's something wrong with my family. Look at your retarded ass. Bye. That's what you look like to me, saying all this stuff about my family. Whew, I'm going to get through it, though. Let's go. It's obvious who wears the pants in his family. It's you, because he's too soft. I remember you saying something to tampon tea bags when this whole thing kicked off about a year ago. You said that if he thinks that you're bad, you don't want your husband to get involved. That's true. If you think that I'm bad, you don't want this dude to get involved. This is why. My husband is an excellent debater. I am a pretty good debater. I'm better at articulating my point than he is. But he has a deeper well of knowledge that allows him to ascertain the root of the subject matter that he is debating. And determining that root is what allows you to, see the entire operation, apparatus, process, time period, whatever it is, for what it is. Like, he's got a great head for history, and he's extremely knowledgeable about things happening in all corners of the globe when it comes to subject matters that interest him. It's not that he'd do good on Jeopardy in a few subjects just like anybody would. Like, oh, these, like this category, I got it. This is my shit. He's got a few of them down. He's really good at remembering dates for things and the numbers, connected with things. But when I say that you would not want him involved, I say that because that, he's not going to give you the satisfaction of doing a bunch of, yelling and screaming and hopping up and down and getting off topic. He's going to stick to the subject matter, and he's going to nail the subject to the wall. He's very good at arguing down to the essential. So yeah, I meant that. Like, you don't want him to get involved. You do not want him to get involved. You want him to pay any attention to any of you dumbasses. Y'all can barely handle me. You would not be able to handle him. And his brilliance has nothing to do with his whiteness, because when it comes to, like, we make a good team because I'm able to articulate things and he's able to discern things and we're able to, pardon me, come together and communicate very well when it comes to like illustrating, like when we do have business propositions and we have something that we have to translate to somebody else, we're trying to get somebody on board with a project that we're working on. We're really good at putting the picture together. Just give us a board. Okay, we'll put the picture together. What are you trying to do? This. Okay, this is what we're going to need. This is what we're going to do. These are the people that we know that can handle this, this, and that. These are the people we know that can do this and this. Do you have this? Do you know this person? Okay, let's put this name here. Like we're very good at putting those things together. And yeah, he's good at like thinking about possibilities and resourcing. And I'm good at connecting people and people that have certain talents and things. Like I'll remember, oh, that person has this, does this, knows this. He's good at the hardware resources. I'm good at the people resources. So when I say, yeah, you wouldn't want him to be involved. You don't want him to argue with you, especially you. Like you're really super slow. You're not all that quick, and you get your feelings hurt really easily when males out alpha you. So you would not want to hear from my man. You would not want to hear from him. He is so man that he is not concerned about you motherfuckers. Y'all ain't heard from him in all this time. You think I got to hand him some damn nuts? What the fuck makes you think that him showing his manhood means playing with you boys? Oh, what? What is he supposed to cry because some fucking idiot came along and said, your wife is ugly. Your child's a half-breed. She's a slut. Your wife is ugly and she's old. What the fuck does he give? The man is too busy minding his own business and doing his own fucking thing. And if he needed to say anything, he would. If I needed him to say anything and I asked him to, if I said that, honey, I am hurting because of this and I need help. And, you're not sticking up for me and I want you to speak for me. He would do that, but I don't need that. So, yeah, I mean, yeah, here you go, making projections about my husband, making assessments. Look, you said you have a huge major problem with him. He's one of the most 65 people, blah, blah, blah. So like you just said, like, I never mentioned him, but then you have all the shit to say. Like, I don't have all the shit to say that I've been holding in about chicks that you date, even though they're probably some of the most desperate chicks on the planet, if they even give you the time of day. Like, so the damn what? Like, that's my opinion, right? In your opinion, these are people that you want to be with and they're important and they're special and they're worthwhile. Or no, actually they're not. According to you, all chicks suck. No dates go well. You forget that you're the common denominator in all of that. But all right, let's move right along. 1840. Because your husband will not stop. Somewhat to the extent where he's relentless. He will not stop. Your husband will not stop. Well, Dean Bill's been over a year now. Where is he at? As a matter of fact, he doesn't even show his face on camera. What he does is he sits behind the camera while you're doing all the talking, putting yourself out there to be attacked. No, my channel, my channel. His channel's his channel. He got his own trolls. I mean, I don't get into his arguments with his trolls, and he doesn't get into my arguments with my trolls, like he doesn't have to hold my hand through talking to you guys, like, oh God. And yeah, my husband would not be relentless. Like, I mean, would be relentless. He would not be, giving you an inch to budge when it comes to an argument. What I mean is, you don't want me to drag him into this arena and to start arguing points. You guys would not be able to debate him because he's not a bullshitter. He's not interested in out alphaing you. And he's not interested in winning the fucking retard Olympics. If there's a point to be debated, he can reasonably argue that point and have respect for the person that he's disagreeing with. We have disagreements and arguments all the time. And it's great because we, have these respectful discussions. He can present his points and his sources. I present my points and my sources. Sometimes we could end up convincing each other. Sometimes we don't. Sometimes we don't. And it's like, fuck you, and we laugh. We don't. You just got the wrong couple, man. You got the wrong couple. Yes, you do not want my husband who will beat an argument to fucking death when he finds it important and wants to fucking have that argument. He does not, you know, if I haven't asked him to speak for me in my arguments, then he's not, inclined to do it. Like, why? And he hasn't asked me to speak for him in his arguments, and I'm not inclined to do it unless he asks me to. Unless he says, "Oh my God, look at this person. I'm on this forum. This person is saying this, and I need your help." You know what? He has asked me for help with the spelling of words he's not familiar with, or the conjugation of verbs that he's forgotten and hasn't used in a while, or with sentence structure. Sometimes he'll be like, "Read this." I say, "How does that sound?" But he ain't asked me to make his arguments for him. Just like, yeah, I might make a video response and I'm making it, and he'll walk by and watch and be like, "How come you don't have the lights, blah, 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 or I can't hear you because the air conditioner is on. Why'd you do it like that?" Like, he's very, he has an eye for whatever the little technical inconsistencies are in people's videos. So he's worried about the sound and the lighting, and it's really funny too that somebody had mentioned like, "Oh, Jeannie, why are you doing your videos in the dark?" And I'm like, "Did your husband tell you?" And I'm like, please, if I listened to him, I would have, a full scale ass fucking blue screen, lights on, showing, all of my, tricks and tools. And I'm like, nah, not for these guys. I'm not going to do that. No way. He loves my videos that I put together where I do bother with all those things, trying to do fun editing and fun camera stuff. And, so he doesn't encourage me to do things in the dark, and I don't hold his nuts, and I don't give him permission to speak, and he doesn't give me permission to speak, and we don't have to agree with each other in order to have a great day together. And, you just got the wrong people. And yeah, seriously, where's he been? It's been over a year. He's been my husband right here, while hasn't what's his face been, in and out of relationships and up and down and and back and forth. This guy is right here with me. That's where he is, right here. You know, not right here, technically right now, not right next to me at the moment, but you know what I mean. We're still happy together, and we haven't had any problems with each other based on the fact that, you guys seem to think that we're supposed to have this problematic relationship just because Turtleface came along and lied. And I'm the type of chick to not let a whole bunch of fucking weirdos get away with saying that I did some things that I didn't do at this point. Even though I understand, that I almost truly feel, I've said this before, I feel like I have a karmic obligation to like deal with this with some grace because, once upon a time in my youth, I told this like whopper, they got two people in trouble, and really upsets me that I could be so careless, and I'm glad that I've evolved to a point to have some sympathy or some empathy about that. But yeah, at the same time, sometimes you just got to pay the piper. So now I know with a fullness, how the people who are affected by what I did, by my blunder, I know with a fullness how they feel. Like, no matter how much sense I communicate to you guys are not going to believe what I have to say because you have your own twisted ideas about what's going on. And you're just going to assert that what you have to say is true, even with common sense and plain facts staring you right here in the face. Like, dude, if my husband were weak, he would be, scrapping with you idiots, talking about fucking, "Oh, suck my dick in every little piece of skin," or "Fuck you, nigga, you this," or "Fuck you, you that," or "You this, you that, da, 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 da." He would be doing all that, but he doesn't feel the need to, And if I felt, like I said, if I felt like, I were being hurt, if I felt like I were being more than like inconvenienced through having channels shut down by false flaggets and having to, reiterate to people who lie and make up stories that, I didn't do this or I didn't say that, I wasn't here, I wasn't there, child didn't say this, she didn't do that, husband didn't say this, he didn't do that, we don't feel this, we don't go there, we don't do this, we don't have that, we don't believe in these, we don't do any of those, we never have done this, we never, the fact that I continue to hold my position is a problem for you because you have a fucking problem. You are problematic. Meanwhile, Turtlefuck talks about the universe. He talks about everybody. talks about everybody's mama and their daddy and their spouse and their kids, and then turns around and says, they're after me. Oh boy. Okay, let's make sure we're still on. We're still up. Let's continue. 19 minutes. This is getting pretty good. Let's see. It's a 310. Maybe we'll try to get to 25. Okay, let's go. Instead of actually defending his wife, what does he do? He sits back and he cheerleads you on with his pom-poms and his miniskirts. And yeah. And yeah, what about when they said this? Yeah, what about when they said that? What kind of man does himself like that? These are the issues I have with your husband. His skin color ain't got nothing to do with nothing. But the saddest part is what becomes questionable to me. I feel that anytime a man is in his household, has a child, marries a woman, he's supposed to solidify protection. Anyone I've ever dealt with, been in a relationship with, there's never one point in time where I had her a fool defending herself against a bunch of damn people. She ain't never had to worry about that. But that's just what I bring to the table as a man. Okay, so you feel like as a man, you're supposed to speak for me. And as a man, you're supposed to argue for me. And you think that's not a bitch ass quality for you to be all scrappy and getting into my arguments, even though they don't have anything to do with you. You know, my YouTube channel was opened by me, and it was about my videos and, you know, the things that I chose to watch and be interested in. If I commented on a video addressed to black women that was made by some angry dude who likes to stalk black women and talk crazy, you know, I encountered that person through my own actions. Why is my husband responsible for that? Especially in this arena where you guys say, you know, how dare a white person even approach the subject matter of black people? You know, how dare a white person even discuss black people and black business? How dare you even discuss black people or black business? But you're telling me he's supposed to, you know, defend me against what? Invisible people? Well, when we made our video where we were talking, you know, the three of us were talking, and, you know, I was making a video where I was asking the kid questions and the spotlight on the kid. Questions for you, the kid. Let's talk to you. You're this kid who all of a sudden is supposed to be in extreme danger, you know, from me and this guy who nobody ever sees. This man nobody ever sees is supposed to be so dangerous. And me, this crazy lady, I'm supposed to be so dangerous because, what? Because I'm ugly and I disagree with the man who screams and yells at black women all day? Okay. Got it. And you're supposed to be a kid who's in danger because this guy says so. Okay, got it. So let's all make this video. Okay, we're all talking. Okay, so, you know, my husband's present. We make this video. And, yeah, he wants to make sure that I'm thorough in presenting my argument. So, you know, when I'm done, he goes, oh, no, wait a minute, because you had mentioned this. You know, we turn the camera back on. Oh, yeah, wait a minute. You know, Dad has these questions. He asked the questions, she asked the questions. And I think the questions were something alluding to the fact, like, do you feel forced? You know, does your mother like sit there and like pitch your eyes open and tell you like you need to watch things that you don't want to watch or that make you uncomfortable? You know, my child knows good and well, you know, that like she's not forced to experience anything that makes her uncomfortable when it comes to anything that I do on set or anything that's on TV or anything that's on the computer. You know, likewise, she's not forced to experience or look at things that she doesn't feel ready for or comfortable with, or things that are inappropriate, you know, for her. Like, and what you think is inappropriate is obviously not what I think is inappropriate, but the levels of inappropriateness where, you know, where we blur, you know, there's no like danger zone where we blur, you know, trust me. You could take my child to any person who is a professional who questions children who have been traumatized, and you will not find that this child has been traumatized by growing up with a mother who is a visual artist. You know, my daughter's been on sets where, you know, my friends are like where people are like throwing makeup, or where they're throwing like feathers and streamers and stuff everywhere, you know, like, oh, been on sets where people like are like disrobing for a nude photo, but like she goes out of the room, you know, but she knows that there's going to be somebody taking a photo nude. Like, this doesn't traumatize her brain, you know, her head doesn't explode because she knows that people don't have clothes on underneath their clothes, you know. Some people do raise their child in the manner, and dare I say, like, this isn't like European thinking. I have like friends who are from Africa, Mother Africa, and like the breast is not like an evil thing there, or the naked booty is not an evil thing in certain regions where my friends hail from, where women are proud of their bodies, they celebrate their bodies. It's not a scary thing. It's not a bad thing. It's not a pornographic thing, because you see a woman who is topless or bare breasted or nude. Oh, Lord. Anyway, so yeah, we don't expose the child to anything that is traumatizing or inappropriate. And when she asks us questions, we answer her questions honestly, because we feel like, okay, well, this is time to answer the question honestly, because this is what she needs to know. Like, um, when children ask that, where do babies come from? You don't have to, like, put on porn, and tell them, like, this is what happens, but you can explain to them that the process is through intercourse. Intercourse is what produces mammals. And mammals are animals that are like, cats and people, and the way that they reproduce is through mating. It's intercourse that allows for the egg that the female carries to be fertilized so that it can grow inside of the uterus of the mammal and eventually be birthed. You can give this child this knowledge so that they can have it and feel confident without being afraid, and you don't have to be traumatizing them, when it comes to this. Like, I don't know. You don't have any kids and you think that you know how to raise kids, and you don't have a wife and you think you know how to be a husband, and you think that my husband is supposed to fight my battles for me. And I think that you have the wrong idea when you think that women cannot also be strong and women cannot also fight. Like, if I start a fight, I finish a fight. I'm not asking my husband to finish a fight that I started. He's not asking me to finish a fight that he started. And we're not asking the kid to finish any fights that we start. And we're not telling the kid that she doesn't have any teeth and that she doesn't have any feet and that she can't kick and she's not able to fight. Okay. Even though she's under our tutelage and under our wing, she is not under our foot or anybody else's. We don't teach her to feel or act or believe that way. Okay. I don't know what they did to you, but we're not doing that to her. So I don't need for my husband to, be my mouthpiece. And I say, especially again, with you guys, like, it's not worth that much of the effort. He's busy. He's busy taking care of actual real business. And yes, to tell you the truth, like I said, the man is relentless. He does not stop when it comes to an argument that is important to him. That's why, he gave me all of the help that I needed by being the type of person who is, open with sharing knowledge. He is also a very good teacher. I'm a child who comes from a very good teacher, from a line of very good teachers. My aunt is a wonderful teacher. My husband is very good at sharing information with people. He's not stingy with information, and he's in the business of information. He's not stingy with sharing, like, you see how I'm showing you guys how to just look up shit, for those of you who aren't inclined to do any investigation on your own. Well, my husband has been very supportive of me, Aquani, and very helpful. And I like to talk, so I don't need anybody taking away my fun. He likes for his wife to enjoy herself. And if I enjoy myself verbally whipping the asses of dunce caps like you, then he's not going to ruin my fun by saying, here, let me beat my fucking chest. I need to take care of this because you're getting attacked by all these people. I'm a man. This is the service that I provide. If the service that you provide were so enticing, why hasn't anybody fucking subscribed? Why hasn't anybody picked up? Anyway, moving right along. Make sure we're still on air, and we are. And 1955, let's go. You ever had to worry about that? That's just what I bring to the table as a man. There's a reason why I say, when somebody comes knocking on your door, your husband, your man is in the house with you at that point in time, he needs to make it his business to get his ass up and address whoever's knocking at that door, because behind that is a certain image that a man sets a certain principle, daddy sets something something. Before someone can even think about doing something disrespectful and crazy, they have to understand, well, you can't come to this guy's house and do that. Her husband's there. There's a certain presence a man has to give off. Your husband, when I look at him, or when I hear him bitching, encouraging you, motivating you like a sissified cheerleader, I don't see any of the above. And here's what becomes most questionable, is that you see that it's okay for your daughter to defend herself against grown men, which is strange that you would put your daughter, and the saddest part is what two of you are doing is collectively psychologically damaging that child. I love how your non-parenting ass is telling people that they're psychologically damaging children. Really, honestly. I'm going to show you this again. All right. We're going to look up teacher arrested. Okay. Former teacher can't stop having sex with teens. Utah teacher with benefits faces more charges after students say they had sex after her arrest. Teacher Danielle Watkins, accused of sexual assault, gets rearrested for alleged threats. Chill, middle school teacher arrested for letting students letting minors get high. Private LA school teacher arrested on sexual assault charges. Placentia middle school teacher arrested on molestation. Science teacher arrested on molestation. Okay. You think that it's traumatizing for us to teach our daughter that if an adult is inappropriate with you, you have a right to defend yourself against that inappropriateness. Now, she knows that at school, she's not supposed to be alone with any adults or any other kids that make her feel uncomfortable. If there are other kids that make her feel uncomfortable, she knows she's supposed to report that to adults that she trusts. If there are adults that make her feel uncomfortable, she knows that she's supposed to contact me immediately. And she has access to me immediately because she has a phone with which to access me. If her phone is somehow taken away and she cannot access me, she knows that she is supposed to go to the office where the principal is, where the vice principal is, where people are that I have talked to, where I have contacted them, where I eyeball them, screen them, and I let you know that person's good to help you, that person not so much. But she knows she is never supposed to find herself alone with any of these people. She's supposed to bring a classmate that she trusts with her to be in the presence of that adult that she seeks help from in order to report the other adult that makes her feel uncomfortable. She is not to physically challenge them, verbally challenge them. She is to avoid them. If she finds herself in an unfortunate situation where, let's say, she's coming out of the bathroom or something and somebody wants to push her in, she has been trained since she was 4 years old. She is now 11 years old, and she has been in physical education classes, martial arts classes, in order to teach her awareness of and comfort with her own body so that she knows how to inflict harm upon the enemy and then run away. She knows how to yell. She knows how to scream. She knows how to kick, punch, block, run, deflect, flip. But look, dude, our child is not psychologically damaged by being brought up to learn that she is going to have to sometimes defend herself against children as well as adults, sometimes physically, sometimes verbally. She may find herself in a position where she's going to have to fight. Now, I bet you I could probably show you some videos right now where there's some guys on YouTube, teaching their kids to fight. Let's see. Teaching kids combat. Okay. Combat bullying by 5 acts of kindness a day. Replace one another. Teaching kids. Oh, they probably said to combat obesity. Okay, a wrong word, combat. Teaching kids. Yeah, teaching kids fighting. Student fights teacher. Okay, student fights teacher. I don't think this is real. I think this is just somebody like kidding. Oh, and Robbie just threw down with Miss Britain. Okay, that was probably a joke, right? Keep your ends fight like a boss. Students fights teacher in 2013 World Star. Good question. Should we teach our kids to fight back? Student arrested after fight with stalker. Kids fights teacher to the teaching kids fighting. I guess I should maybe reword this. Student charged with assault and teacher leave. Teacher on leave. Teacher fights kid in my school. Nerd boy teach how to fight. Student. So I'm talking about teaching kids how to fight. Okay, teaching kids how to fight. Detroit student violent classroom brawl. Teacher. Oh God. Santa Monica teacher student fight. Kids fight teacher teaching 12s how to fight. 12s. Teaching your kids to fight. Okay, teaching your kids to fight. This guy. Go check out Charles Patrick. Okay, he said, I just posted on my page about these children bullying this other child. Now you see, this guy, maybe he noticed a story where some other kids were being bullied, and he wants to talk about teaching your children to be able to fight in the case of being bullied. You know, in case some bullies want to mess with them, you want your kids to know how to punch a bully in the fucking face. Sometimes those bullies are adults, all right? And yeah, sometimes kids need to be able to know the difference between an adult who is being civil and an adult who is being uncivilized. So thank tampon tea bags for giving me a great example of an uncivilized adult, you know? And yeah, there's nothing wrong with me or my man or my child because like we're not a unit that's going to be like together 24/7. Like I better not knock on the door, her husband's home. Okay, so you want me to be raising my child to think that she's got to put off this image that if there isn't a man around her, that means that she's open to be attacked, and that if she is attacked, that she's got to go get a man to go fight for her. See, you think that that's normal, and you're saying my man's not a man because I wear the pants and blah, 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 because I know how to defend myself. My daughter knows how to defend herself, and he knows how to defend herself. And we are, in it for each other. If I needed him to defend me, he would. And I've never asked him to do that because I don't, like I said, like I don't need anybody to argue for me about some damn YouTube bullshit. And again, like I said, he's been very helpful when it comes to these arguments. I don't, just like I don't discuss every news story with you, I don't discuss every way that my husband assists me with you, but you presume that my husband, just because he doesn't, you know, talk stupid like you or run to defend me the way you run to defend Turtleface, that he's not being a good mate, a good defender, whatever. Okay, so I'm going to continue and try to finish this. Oy, 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 oy vey. Instead of allowing her to enjoy her innocence, what you're running around doing is letting her engage in the grown folks' issues, which have nothing to do with her. A child cannot intellectually go up against a grown ass man. That's crazy. A child cannot intellectually go up against a grown ass man. Once again, um, let's see. Stupid adults. I'll just look up stupid adults. Adults are stupid, stupid adults. Adults are idiots by the amazing atheist. Grief, teaching kids versus adults, mental illness. Adults can be stupid. Adults fighting on YouTube is so stupid. Internet tough guy. Come on now. Stop talking. You, all right? All day. A child cannot intellectually. She has nothing to say intellectually to an adult. You don't have much to say um, that is positive about other adults, Mr. Adopt a Negro, comprehending the dysfunctional nature of black men. Knowing your self-worth as black men, Ray Rice knocks out fiance and the battles black women choose. The short-term thinking process of black people. Short-term thinking process. You're saying that a child cannot compete intellectually with these short-term thinking process having people? Come on, man. This is how the world views black men. You don't think that you could like ask children and just ask them, like, hey, child, draw me a picture of a black man and see if they draw a picture of like two gay guys snuggled up to each other on a poster? Like, I'm just saying, don't tell me that children have nothing to contribute to society because they're children. See, you like to feel like you are intellectually bigger than children, and you're not. A child has nothing to say. He cannot compete intellectually. How can a child, an adult? No, you're not smart just because you're big. You know? You're not a smart guy because you're a big guy. Adults aren't automatically smart. They're just older. They're older than children. Let's look up child prodigy math. Okay? Math prodigy, proud of his autism. 14-year-old chess and math prodigy enrolls at UCLA. Okay? Here's a 14-year-old who's able to compete intellectually with adults. Look, growing pains of a teenage genius. BBC documentary about Cameron Thompson. Cameron completed his degree at age 15. Now, these are some, 12-year-old genius. Jacob Barnett on Glenn Beck. And, of course, I'm just looking up genius children. I'm not saying my child's a genius. She tested for the gifted program. She didn't make it because she's not gifted. She's smart. She's brilliant. She's exceptionally bright. She's a hard worker. But she's not like autistic or somehow got some sort of pathway established that allows her to have a really refined sense of a particular subject matter that is so far above others that it seems unusual. African child, math genius, Jacob Barnett, math and science prodigy, cool math. Okay, let me listen to this baby talk. Okay, these two people are talking about algebra, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so they're going to talk. Let me introduce you now to Paula and Peter. They've just passed the University of Cambridge of advanced math. They're just 8 years old. World record holders, youngest people to attain such an achievement, these two babies. Were you surprised when you heard that? Yeah. You knew you were going to do well, didn't you? Yeah. How hard have you been working? Well, I find it as a game, so it's not really hard. You treat it as a game? Yeah. Tell me about the sort of things you have to do. Well, we had to look at some questions that may seem difficult, but were easy once you just get in the swing of it. Maybe for you. Okay, right. So these children are sitting on the couch having a discussion about the test that they took. The guy's going, and how was your test? They're not infants. They're 8 years old. Okay. These children are 8, and they're able to have discussions about, with their parents sitting there present, they're able to discuss math and the fact that they have, this accomplished this great achievement by passing this Cambridge test or, getting this, I don't know, I forget what it was called. Okay. Because math achievements are not something that I am well versed in. Okay. So anyway, these children are sitting here having a discussion with the interviewer, and they're not idiots. Let's look at kids react. Kids react to gay marriage. How about that? Okay, kids react to gay marriage by the Fine Brothers. Are you yelling at the Fine Brothers going, what can a kid have an intellectual conversation about gay marriage with? Oh my God, blah, blah, blah. Or how about, let's see, elders react to gay marriage? Or elders react to, oh, epic rap battles of history. 50 Shades of Grey. Flappy Bird, llamas with hats, Oculus Rift, twerking. Okay, sure, elders react to twerking. Okay. Now, you know that, oh, people, okay, there's, let's see, Taylor Swift, Shake It Off video, right? In this Taylor Swift Shake It Off video, are there not all kinds of dancers? We've got some ballet girls. And we've got her, shaking in a tutu. And we've got, the cheerleaders and all kinds of people. Yeah, there we go. Booty twerking. Okay. So we've got, twerking in this. No, Taylor Swift is not like your, and by the way, my child is not a Taylor Swift fan, but, she's not like your average adult's music, right? This is music for the kids. There's twerking in this video. We've got elders react to twerking as if, oh my gosh, but the kids are like, what? It's dance, right? So, you get my drift here, right? Kids react. Smosh to Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared. Have you seen that? Like, Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared is way scarier. It's quote unquote scarier than Western esotericism. It is scarier. Here we have kids reacting to it. Do you have a problem with the Fine Brothers? No, you don't. Because the Fine Brothers didn't pick on Turtleface. So, I think I'm making my point here, right? Right. Okay. Might as well check out what this is so far. Let's check out what this is. This is a comment on, oh Lord, yeah. Father of a scam, dude. Okay, well, I'll look at that later. Okay, so that makes no damn sense. Any parent that can think like that, there's something seriously wrong. But you would sit back and say your child is right to defend herself. My question is this, and this goes out right to your husband. Where's her father? While your child is on the internet defending herself against grown-ass people, while your child is sitting in the bed with a training bra on doing this, and her father's in the background recording this shit on the camcorder. Actually, okay, hold on. He wasn't in the background recording it. I was the person holding the camera. Okay. So that's what I'm talking about. You guys like make up details and, try to act. Oh, that's cute. You guys make up details and try to, act like things happen that, didn't happen. And you try to act like people have intentions that they don't have. And okay, so your question was like, where's my husband? And, where's her father while she's defending herself on the internet and people are blah, blah, blah. And this is not a question for your husband. And, like, once again, he has addressed things. And you said, oh, well, he sounds like sissified and blah, 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 because he says this and that. Like, he has addressed things. I have addressed things. She has addressed things. You tell me that I've gone on and said these things for a year, and I've said too much. You said that I'm supposed to say things about your business with Styles 4 months earlier. But I'm not supposed to say anything about your business with Styles because it's none of my business. But you came over to me because of my thing with Turtleface, but it's okay for you to make a comment about my thing with Turtleface, and it's okay for you to comment about Styles' thing with Turtleface because that has to do with something else. But, God, it's like you're acting like this was a situation that required my husband to stand up and like go knock somebody out. And if this is what you think, then why is it that you do not seem to have a problem with anything that Turtleface did? Why do you have no problem with anything that Tampon Teabags did, but you think that my husband should be saying something in my defense because I'm being attacked? See? And you're saying that I'm throwing up the kid so that when I'm attacked, I can justify that I'm, you know, defending myself against being attacked. So if I'm being attacked, then who's attacking me? And how am I being attacked? Where are the attacks coming from? You know, what is the nature of the attacks, right? So you're saying my husband is supposed to defend me against attacks, but you don't have any problem with the attacks. You have a problem with the fact that my husband is not adequately defending myself against these attacks, in your opinion. But you don't have a problem with the attacks. The attacks that are coming from another person who's a parent, right? You're saying that me and my husband are sucky parents, but the person who attacks us is also a parent. And that person, you have, I know, you have not a word to utter about this person who is a parent who goes around attacking people so much to the point where you feel like my husband should be speaking for me to defend me and my daughter against these attacks. And these attacks are so bad that me and my daughter should not be defending ourselves against these quote unquote attacks, that my husband should be speaking in our place to defend us, that he should be like up at the gate, that nobody should even think about attacking us because he is defending us against these attacks. But the attacks that you describe as attacks, those are nothing to bitch about, moan about, complain about, whine about. We're doing all this bitching and moaning and whining and complaining about these attacks. And my husband is supposed to mention the attacks, and he's supposed to confront the attacks, but the attacks are not a problem, and the attacker are not a problem. Do you see what I mean, brother of no logic and uncommon stupidity? Oh, okay. So you're saying, your question to my husband is, you know, why aren't you, you know, saying something when your wife is and your daughter is and blah, blah, blah. And, you know, and you're saying that I'm holding his nuts in a jar and I give him his nuts, and you're saying that he doesn't defend us because he has no nuts, right? Okay. Now, I'm telling you that I don't go around the internet starting arguments with people and asking my husband to finish the arguments that I start with people. And I do not, as I've just explained and showed you by looking up, like just look up teacher arrested. Okay. I've explained to you that teaching my child that she's got to have us around all the time in order to defend herself is not the way to go in this day and age, as far as I'm concerned. Thank you very much. Let me be concerned with parenting my child. Why don't you get some before you start giving out parenting advice, please? You know, I'm saying that, you're saying this. I got no problem with you expressing yourself, dude, but I do have a problem with the fact that you're a moron who doesn't seem to know it, and you feel like you in your spiritual infancy, you have the right to be so judgmental of other people, when, you know, the truth of the matter is the only reason why you got a problem with this lady in particular, not any other lady, you know, who, like, let's look up, you know, training bra. You know, you're not going to any other lady who made any other kind of videos about, you know, girls talking and training bras. Hey guys, it's Girls Talk, and we're talking about training bra, crop top, blah, blah, blah. You know, she's having this discussion, this little girl. And it's 2 minutes, and she's talking about that. And she's showing, you know, her examples of what works for her or whatever. You know, you're not talking to this lady telling her she's a terrible parent. Let's see. Oh my God, there's a bare midriff. I bet you this person isn't quite 18. Are you angry with them? You know, here we go, training bras and fitting. Here we go, here's some girls. Hey girls, hey guys, welcome to our channel. I'm so-and-so, this is Amanda. Our channel is all about girls. You know, this is so cute. There's 5 stages of getting boobs. First stage is completely flat. See, there's nothing. Second one, you get a raised bump called the nipple. In the third, you see this, these are little girls going over their book on breast development, you know. And they're talking about this and because this is what they want to talk about in order to share their experiences with other girls. This is what they're going through. Okay, do you have a problem with those people? You know, are you going to go yelling at these people, telling them, you know, how dare you do this? How dare you put up these videos because, you know, you're supposed to have a man protecting your family against arguments. Oh, and, you know, I'll go back, like, let me go, you know, just for the sake of argument. Let's see, for girls talk videos. Let's see, girls advice growing up. Okay, 11 comments, and I'm seeing nothing but, you know, positive things, you know. In the fitting room with Emily from the Little Bra Company. Let's check this out. See, my babe's clothing is not an issue. Hi, it's Emily from the Little Bra Company. I'm in Hong Kong. I'm here with Claire. Claire's wearing our Lucia bra in a 32B. Okay, so this is like, yeah, this is first underwires for when you like actually need an underwire. You know, first you're at a stage where you can get away with wearing a sports bra and stuff, and then them girls start to pick up some weight, and you want to get something that has a little bit more structure to it. So that's what this lady is discussing here. Okay, what's wrong with this? It's got 35,000 views, and amazing, nearly 9,000 views and not one comment. Okay, I don't know why that's so damn amazing. But anyway, very informational. Okay, I think somebody's being funny right there. But anyway, yeah, this is just bra fitting, okay? Here's a girl standing in her bra. She obviously looks, you know, like pretty young, pretty skinny. Most models that you see in magazines start off very young. Models that you see on the runway start off very young. You know, you see more chicks in their bra than you real who are, you know, not 18, you know, than you realize in a day. You can flip through a JCPenney catalog and see, you know, all kinds of people in bras. You know, you focus on that because you don't else. You know, okay, here we go. How to measure your bra size. Her room, lingerie we buy for ourselves. With how to measure your bra size. Knowing your right bra size can be life-changing. You know, what's wrong with this video? Is there anything wrong with this video? Okay, now let's just, I'm going to look up swimming, all right? Kids swim in the swimming pool. Here's our Monday's random video. Anything wrong with this? There's a man behind the camera laughing and filming this. Is there something wrong with it? You know, like, oh, wait, check this out. You know, this baby is running around this pool. Is that dangerous? Look at this guy. You know, is there something wrong with this guy? Look at this kid. Is there something wrong with that kid? Right? Now, is there something wrong, you know, with those children or with their parents? I mean, you're not running over there telling these people that there's something wrong with them. Now, let's say that somebody came up to that video and said something, you know, about those children, and that father made a video, and then people started attacking that father and saying that, you know, oh my God, you're endangering and you're doing all these things to your child, and your child is traumatized, and your child is your child's a slut, and your child's, you know, all this shit's gonna happen, and something wrong with her. And he made a video where he and his child are sitting there talking, and, you know, talking about the fact that there are crazy people who say stupid things, and, you know, you're just gonna have a conversation about that, you know. Like, I doubt that you wouldn't even notice, you know, because unless that person has an argument with fucking tampon tea bags, you're not going to know that they fucking exist. Just like you didn't know that I existed until I had an argument with tampon tea bags. You see where I'm going with this? Do you see where I've been going with this? Oh boy. All right, so moving right along. he has never felt the need to one time speak up on behalf of his child, let alone his fucking wife. Okay, look, once again, I don't run around the internet starting arguments with people and asking my husband to finish these arguments for me. I mean, do you understand what that means? You're just suggesting that I run around starting shit or run around catching shit and then handing it to him to deal with when I'm perfectly capable of managing my own shit. And like I said, if you just go ahead and Google yourself some teachers arrested, you will understand why in this day and age, when your children are away from you for, 6 or 8 hours a day, it is important for you to teach them that, yeah, you better be able to communicate what is happening with you and with the children around you and the adults around you. You better have some awareness of yourself and some ability to defend yourself. Because if you don't have that, there are people who are looking for victims in children, and they will take advantage of your inability to be able to defend yourself. So it's just ingrained for some people, for some children, that their kids know that, like, I'm worth more than being, dragged off in a room and fiddled with and told that if you say anything, I'll kill your mother, That's how that shit happens. People catch kids before they get that message or before they get that training. Victim seekers, victim hunters, this is what they look for. They crave situations where they find that, kids are being neglected. That's why, your Lord Tampon Teabags, when he gets on the phone, with people's kids, he'll go ask, is your father in the home? And where's your father? And, because that's what a victimizer does. They go looking for an end. They look for an opportunity to exploit a situation. Any person who knows single mothers that have to work, will have difficulties because their mothers, they want to be with the child, but they got to work, and so they need somebody to take care of the child. And if they're away from family and they don't have reliable babysitting, this is a person that is more likely to allow her boyfriend or the guy she's dating to babysit the kids. So the guy who's looking for a situation like that in which to take advantage of a child is going to go hunting for single mothers who work late, or, like he's going to hit on chicks who work dispatch. Dude, we think about all angles here. So you're thinking that, our family is designed in a way that makes it so that, my husband is the head and he is the strong and he is the defender and the protector. And I am under him and I am weaker and I need his defense and his protection. And the child is underneath both of us and she is weak and she needs both of our defense and protection. And we carry her brains in our pocket and he carries my brain in his pocket. And, we're just not like that. I'm an individual, he's an individual, she's an individual. If I were not a happy individual, we couldn't have a happy marriage. If he weren't a happy individual, we couldn't have a happy marriage. If our kid were not a happy individual, she wouldn't go on to be, a self-sufficient person without feeling like, she turned into a spoiled brat that needs her parents to pat her on the back and tell her that she's a good person all the time, instead of, being able to find her strength within herself by being able to test it, by using it herself. Her grades she earns, when she when she goes to the movies and wants to see something with us and we allow her to choose, it is based on what she likes, not based on not wanting to hurt our feelings by picking the movie that I think has the better actors in it. I'd rather see this. Well, she's going to say what she wants to say because she's confident enough in being able to say that. She doesn't live in a house where people going to smack her, for saying like she wants to go see this movie and we all want to go see that one. You know what I mean? Like there's the three of us, so it's not like she's got a bunch of siblings to share space with. So, when it comes to going to a restaurant, when she orders macaroni and cheese and it's because she wants that. It's not because like we make her want the macaroni. I don't know. I'm just trying to explain here that the child can defend herself and she should be able to defend herself. When does that start? Like she's not going to be with us until she gets married necessarily. She's not going to be in the house next to us, connected to us 24/7. She's going to be away with us sometimes. She has to defend herself when it comes to bullying classmates. Sometimes there are bullyish adults and she's going to have the wisdom to know when she is being, tricked, taken advantage of. She's going to have to know, something ain't right there. That ain't right. How does she learn that? She learns that by being taught. And she knows that, her brain works, because we we teach her to use it, and we teach her to trust it. So my husband didn't marry a weak bitch who needs him to speak for her when it comes to a silly debate with a fucking moron on YouTube. You act like this is like, we're in the grocery store and somebody hauls off and punches me in the face, and he just like looks at me and waits for me to get up. Like, that's not going to happen. And that's not, what's happened here. And the other thing that I will reiterate for you again, because you do not seem to listen very well, is that my husband has been very helpful to me within the course of this bullshit. He has helped me as much as I want him to help me. And if I needed him to speak for me when I can speak just fine, he would. But I don't need that, okay? And his ego is not so shriveled to the point where he needs to address a whole bunch of nobody dudes whose opinions don't matter when it comes to their, fucked up projections about his wife. Like, he's not personally affected by your opinions about me. I'm sorry to say, like, for your ego's sake, I know you guys think that what you have to say is that important in our world, but it isn't. I'm, like, as evidenced here, taking what, a year to even watch this video and respond to it. So, obviously, like, what you have to say about me is not like, it's not the first thing that we think about when we wake up, and it's not the last thing we think about before we go to bed, and it's not really, it's not really important. So, I mean, if it were important, like if somebody did haul off and, sock me in the grocery store, it's my favorite analogy space. In the grocery store, or at the movie theater, or at the mall, or at the kid's school, or whatever, somebody fucking haul off and punch a kid. He's just gonna, like, look at her while she's on the ground and wait for her to get up. Well, you know what? To tell you the truth, yeah, if there was another kid who hit the kid in front of us, it's not on. We wouldn't be able to hurt anybody else's child. Maybe we would tell her, like, get up, hit him. But, nobody is going to, you're suggesting, like, my husband's not a man, he's a cream puff, and I'm this crazy bitch, and I've got his balls and stuff, right? Like, nobody is going to see her walking with him or see her walking with me and haul off and walk up to that child and call her a slut and a slutty child in training and slap her and none of that, okay? People got these goddamn internet balls, but nobody has the real life audacity. Audacity is one of your favorite words, right? Nobody has the audacity to walk up to us in real life and actually address the child like that. If that were to happen, I'm pretty sure that, yeah, he'd probably have something to say quicker than I would. Maybe I'd have something to say quicker than he would. But, either way, like, there's no way that any of us can't possibly defend ourselves in any situation when it comes to another person who wants to, take away our freedom to simply exist without bothering anybody. I mean, damn. That's just, I think that's just good living. You don't have to feel like, oh no, I can't defend myself because I'm old. Oh no, I can't defend myself because I'm a lady. Oh no, I can't defend myself because I'm ugly. Oh no, I can't defend myself because I'm a child. Oh no, I can't defend myself because I'm black. Can't defend myself because I'm white. Can't defend myself because I'm young, old. I can't defend myself because I'm not educated. I can't defend myself because I'm not rich. Can't defend myself because I don't live over here. I don't live on the mountain. I don't live by the beach. I don't live in the suburbs. I don't live in the city. I don't live in the country. I can't defend myself. I'm sorry. Like, you want to put limitations on our humanity based on our position. My child is supposed to be this kind of person in order to satisfy you. My husband's supposed to be this kind of person in order to satisfy you. I'm supposed to be this kind of person in order to satisfy you. And we're telling you, each one of us can individually tell you, fuck you. We don't really care what you think. And you think that means that any of us is weak somehow? When you're the person who's saying that, you've been going after this man and going after this man for years, going after this man, like, look, obviously I've got my own teeth. I have my own claws. I like to keep them sharp myself. I don't need anybody else to speak for me. And yeah, when my daughter decided that she had something to say in the videos where she decided that she had something to say, it was because she decided that she had something to say, and her supportive parents decided that it was okay that she say it. It wasn't about anything being won, based on her saying it. It was, her wanting to express herself. She's allowed to do it. She did. And that's that. I mean, if he were, a cowardly asshole, like you're trying to describe him as, he would be running around putting fucking gags on us and speaking for us and beating his chest and acting like he's got to, lead us around on leashes and lord over us and be our brains. But he's a bigger man than that. He does not care about your assessments of his manhood. That's how big his manhood is. He doesn't need approval from you or definition from you when it comes to his manhood. That's what we're dealing with over here. But I mean, you're just probably taking that pot shot because you feel like I was falsely accusing you of bringing him up. So if I did do that, I do apologize for that. But the reason why I considered that you might have addressed him, and I did even say you might, and I'm assuming, when I did that little 4-part breakdown that was about half as long as this video that I'm responding to right now, I mentioned, like, I'm looking at your comment section, so I'm presuming that you said something about my husband. Well, let me tell you this, blah, 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 blah. Okay? All right? All right, all right. All's fair. Let's keep going from 2150. And like I said, I'm going to try to get to 25, and then I'm going to call it a night. He won't even take the time to get his monkey ass on camcorder to defend your ratchet ass. That's how much of a bitch he really is. But you think he's got what it takes to come at somebody else of my caliber and tell me shit. And let me just say this. The man doesn't have to run around on YouTube making videos to defend his wife. He can say, you know what, turn the laptop off. Stop paying attention what these guys are doing. Because at the end of the day, you're the only one still going and talking the same old goofy shit. See, that's not true. Turtleface to this day talks the same shit about the same people over and over again on rotation. He talks about all kinds of people all the time, constantly. You never bitch and moan about that. But me going after this one dude specifically, you got a problem with that. That's because you got a problem with that. Now, my man, doesn't need to say anything to you guys about shit. He just doesn't need to, and I don't need him to. Damn. Like, quit begging for his attention. Like, he's not, he's just not that petty. He's not that petty, and he's not that concerned about, the small things that concern the people in this fucking turtle shit pit. And if he were, he'd say something. I mean, damn, he has a right to not be concerned about this shit, just like I have a right to respond as long as I choose to respond. I think you're trying to qualify things as being things that they're not. You're saying that my husband's lack of interest in these discussions means that he is unable to kick your ass in any debate. That's not true. Debating you would be a waste of his time. I feel right now it is a waste of my intellect to tell you the same shit over and over and over again. But like I said, if I can throw hours at Papa's Wingeria or Scrabble or fucking, Galaga or Pac-Man or any other game, I can listen to you talk this shit, and I can talk my shit in response to you talking your shit, but I don't need my husband's help to do it, and he will be in the background sometimes, and he'll, hear me say things, and he'll mention something, just like, if he's in the background talking on the phone with somebody and he mentions something and it calls something to mind for me, I'll go, oh yeah, you were talking about going to that store is in Santa Monica that has that stuff in it that you just mentioned to your friend. Or if I'm talking in this video and I go, oh yeah, you're a fucking hypocrite because you just said that, and he'll go, oh yeah, this is pretty hypocritical. I noticed, you mentioned that this person said that. Well, isn't this stupid? Like we're in the same house, and we're able to discuss these things all the time, you know, so there's no like, there's no grand event to this. Like, I don't need to, you know, go, okay, honey, now you need to sit down. We need to do this now. You know, you and I need to address, you know, like we did that one good time, you know, me, him, and the kid talk about these crazy accusations that came out of nowhere. Woke up in the morning and it was just like slander getting all up in my inbox. I was like, what the fuck? This is so wildly unusual. Okay, well, let's make a video, you guys. Let's talk, right? So we did that, and we were done. We said what we had to say. Afterwards, I said what I had to say to things that were being said later. See, you're accusing me of being like 1 year harping on the same subject. And it's not really that. It's me being, you know, 1 year consistently addressing, you know, the subject matter at hand as it comes up as needed. If somebody makes a video today that says, you know what, I can't stand this psycho mayor person. He made this video about this lady's kid and said that this lady's kid was a bitch and it pissed me off. If I go up to that video and go, yeah, you know what? That guy made a video about my kid, calling her all kinds of this and that, lying about my whole family, and he is a dick, and you're absolutely right. And, you know, be careful with him. Don't engage him if you can avoid it, because he's a fucking weirdo stalker, and he'll try to get your channel shut down by, you know, trying to goad you into making videos about him that he can take, rip, and exploit and get paid for while he is flagging you for copyright. And it's just this vicious cycle. You know, who are you to tell me that I'm not allowed to do that, right? Like, when I respond to, you know, what's going on with this idiot, it's the same as me responding to, you know, anything else I choose to respond to. If Goldie Starling puts up a new makeup video today and it's a look from the Rocky Horror Picture Show, which is a movie that came out in the 70s, 80s, I think it's 70s is Rocky Horror Picture Show, came out in the 70s. And she does makeup for it today. Does that mean that she's not supposed to, you know, like, she can do the makeup, and then I'll watch it. And then, oh, let's say she made the video last year for last Halloween, and I only watch it today, and I go, oh my God, I love this look. Is it like, bitch, don't tell me you like this look. I put this up 10 months ago, and this was for Halloween. And you know, I mean, you know, I can say what I want when I want. I can, you know, say what I want about turtle fuck when I want to say it. My man can choose to not say shit about turtle fuck if he doesn't want to. And, you know, if I needed him to say anything in my defense, I would ask him to do that. You know, I don't care to, because I don't need to. I'm a person who has no problem defending myself in an argument. Is that all right with you? You think I need to get a man? See, that doesn't make any sense. Like, you're saying that, you know, I've got his balls in a jar, and, you know, I've got him on a leash and everything, and that he's supposed to stand up and defend me. You know, like, isn't that like making an object of him? Like, you know, he's Defendatron, you know, he's automatic defend me man. So I just go around starting, you know, random arguments, you know, I just go around like, or falling into arguments, really, you know, with the turtle face. It was really, I was just like, oh God, this video, you're screaming about black women and you're full of shit. And he was like, well, I am a crazy fucking stalker, bitch, and that's what you don't know. Okay. Like, you know, me going into that situation, if I had immediately gone, hey, honey, will you respond to this guy? You guys would be like, oh, this bitch, this bed wench got her white husband. You guys were saying that about me anyway. Fucking Brainless Raisin was saying she went and got white boys. She sent got white boys to attack and lynch this man. See, Okay, so you're telling me that I was supposed to get my husband to defend me when you see that Brainless went ahead and accused me of going to get Cabby and Keen to defend me. I did not know them. I did not ask them to defend me. I believe I thanked Keen for giving me an opportunity to address a certain subject in a video. Turtleface turned around and said that he's put all these words in my mouth and said that I went over there and said, thank you for defending us black women. Thank you for being, you know, it's a shame that black men won't defend us and you white men do. And I never said anything remotely close to that. The dude had made a video going, hey, women, this opportunity for you to say all the things that, you know, drive you crazy about dudes. Let her rip, ladies. And I was like, thank you for this opportunity to say these things. You know what? I don't even fucking complain about men like that. And it almost, like, it makes me tear up that you would even say that, and that, like, there's a hesitancy with me. Like, I can't do it. I'm not going to complain about men as if men are all a cursed species just because there's a few guys that are assholes. Like, that hurts my feelings, because when I think of the men that I love that aren't assholes, I'd be doing them a disservice if I did that. And, you know, thank you so much for presenting this opportunity to have this discussion in this way. You motherfuckers are calling me, you know, the fucking bed wench brigade, sending out, you know, white boys to lynch black men, and then you're going to turn around and tell me, why haven't you had your husband defend you? Like, what? No, you know, and maybe actually, if I didn't know what I was dealing with when it came to you guys, I would have, you know, a discussion where he and I discussed a topic where he and I were maybe on the opposite side of the fence with someone else when it came to a certain subject, right? But not when it comes to, like, you fucking idiots in this turtle shit pit where you guys are all racist and you guys, like, fucking start foaming and salivating at the sight of, like, white people. You don't know whether you want to fucking hump them or shoot them. Like, it's just, you got this crazy fucking white worship. You presume that other people have it. And I'm not talking about you so much with this. Like, you know, it's more like more other people in the turtle shit pit that have this sort of, like, white people disillusion, fascination, weird shit thing, and they think that everybody else is, like, fascinated by white people and wants to be a white person and is trying to get white people approval and shit like that, you know. And so you're telling me that in the midst of all these fucking weirdos, I'm supposed to go, oh, hey, honey, yeah, why don't you talk for me? Let me clue you in. Let me fill you in on this shit that has nothing to do with you. And then you go speak for me. You know, why? I responded to a video that was addressed to black women. It was about black women. So he is not a black woman. So why am I supposed to get him to speak for a black woman? Like, you're not making any damn sense. Okay, so I'm almost at 25. Let me get there. Let's finish this up. We're still on air. We're still on air. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. That's you. Talking about the same man over and over and over. That's you. This is what you're doing. You're running around talking about other people getting tired of this and tired of that. You're the main one that still continues to keep this shit going. And your husband is soft and as bitchified as he is. Not for 1 second. A man's supposed to feel some kind of possession when it comes to his wife. Ooh, you just said something right there, boy. Something wrong with you. A man is supposed to feel some kind of possession. What, like demon possessed? Or is he supposed to feel like I am his property? So you just said that. Am I supposed to feel like he's my property? Because I'm pretty sure if I did go, look, he's my property, you would be like, look at this bed wench parading her white man around, right? And if he says, this is my property, you're going to be like, look at that bed wench, you know, letting that white boy treat her like a piece of meat, right? But you're telling me a man's supposed to feel possession toward his woman. And you're telling me, what else did you say just now? Let's see. I think it started at like 22:15. Stop paying attention to what these guys are doing. Because at the end of the day, you're the only one. Oh, yeah, you're the only one going in over and over again. Okay, you're the only one going in over and over again. Okay, listen to Mike Mills' show the other day. The guys on the Mike Mills show, I think the day before yesterday, I listened to it. They're bringing up Turtleface. If I listen to TRS, maybe somebody will be calling, bringing up Turtleface. Listening to Minty Woodchip's show, they're allies with Turtleface now. So these are your friends now. So you're not talking shit about them right now. But I bet you if they talk about Turtleface and they bring him up favorably, or they, you know, stick their noses into arguments and they try to defend him, you don't have any problem with that. You don't have any problem with anybody else discussing Turtleface over and over again. You have a problem with me doing it. Do you know why? You have a problem with me doing it because you don't have an argument against me when I do it. All right? He was wrong when it comes to me. 100% wrong. Wrong from left to right. Wrong from ceiling to floor. Absolutely wrong. There's no way that he can justify taking my videos and lying about them. There's no way that he can justify lying about my family and then false flagging my pages when I defended myself. There's no way that he can justify having us all over his website, all over his Twitter, all over his Facebook, all over his YouTube, where he's like lying up and down the street and then, taking videos and pictures of himself up the fucking street, trying to be intimidating to us. Like, there's no defense for him when it comes to me, and him hauling off and referring to a then 9-year-old child as a slutty child, slut in training, pissed off a lot of people. And they were supportive of me because they didn't like the way he acted and they didn't like the way he treated children. And that bothers you. Like you said earlier in this video, people supporting you and blah, 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 blah. That bothered you because you support Turtleface. This is that fucking simple. I don't know why you're trying to overcomplicate this shit and saying your only problem with me is this. No, your only problem with me is that. No, your only problem with me is this. No, your only problem with me is that. No, your only problem with my husband is this. No, you're just a dick. You like this other guy who's a dick, and you're defensive of this guy, and he's a dick. And you're not running around talking about what a horrible parent he is for creating this legacy of, screaming about how Black women all need to be thrown in a gas chamber. Talking about how he likes to have group sex and how he needs to get his dick sucked and how he was taken advantage of by this white woman, but he would have let her continue to do it because he had never been so happy in his life. And oh my God, Black women, when they get a white man, they act like they won the lottery. And I would never let my daughter date a Black man. And I don't want her to get one of you niggas. I'm going to get her to get a white boy. And oh, I can't stand to see little Black girls. I can't stand to see them. I hate to see them because they're just disgusting. That's your fucking star example of a parent, right? You got to talk shit about me because our kid knows that an asshole is an asshole and she can point and laugh and go, troll, blah, 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 blah. I'm trying to get to 25. Oh my God. Okay, let's listen. Let's see. You're continuing to keep the shit going. Your husband, he's soft, bitch fight. Oh, okay. Man's supposed to feel confined possession when it comes down to his wife. Okay. His queen, his woman, his soulmate, the mother of his child. He's supposed to feel some kind of way if he comes home and sees his woman making numerous different videos addressing primarily the same guy. But this savage has become so bad. Now she's addressing other popular YouTubers. Okay, see, that's crazy. I'm a savage because I'm addressing other popular YouTubers. Who's popular? Y'all ain't popular. Do you know what a popular YouTuber is? Okay, there's a VidCon. There's a thing called VidCon, that YouTube does, right? Where all the popular YouTubers show up. I don't see any of you guys there, all right? If you guys did show up, and you set up a table and you were like, hey, the brother of common logic fucking bullshit, you're not going to have no line out the door like fucking PewDiePie. Like, shut the fuck up. Like, you guys are not popular. And for me to make 10 videos addressing you, okay, let's look at your channel again. Is it because you're single that it's okay for you to address all the different people that you address? Or, I mean, I'm not supposed to make YouTube videos addressing people because I'm married? He comes home and his queen has made videos to this one guy and then other popular YouTubers. And she's not only started to make videos, but she started to make videos on YouTube and videos on YouTube. Like, what? Okay, let me look up married. Vlog. I don't know. Let's see. Jessica Lee's wedding vlog. Okay, so good morning. It's my wedding day. She's wearing her YouTube. Here we go. Here's a popular YouTuber. Look at her YouTube shirt. Okay, that she probably got from the fucking offices of YouTube where she went. And look, even this video, December 6th, 2013, 127,000 videos on this, views rather, on this video that is a little over a year old. And this is a popular YouTuber. This is why I say, you guys have these numbers that need to be tested because your numbers don't reflect any sort of reality because you got a mole within this corner who manipulates people's numbers. It's, okay. So here, this girl, she's married. Okay, she's been married for a year, apparently. If she was married in December of 2013. And so 5 comebacks for your racist relative during the holidays. Maybe she had to deal with some racist relatives. Jessica Lee, Yahoo, Black Lives Matter with Katie Couric. To Mike Brown on my 31st. Jessica Lee explores roots. 5 tips for being an ally. Explores your roots. Okay, so this woman is, walking around on the street with a microphone, talking to people. This video is sponsored by Ford and PBS in support of Finding Your Roots, okay? This is a person who is, making a business out of running around talking to strangers. Does she have her husband with her all the time? No. Is he, by her side defending her in case somebody says something mean? No. I bet you, do people hit on her and tell her she's cute and they like her? I bet they do. Does that mean that she or her husband or anybody around her has to feel insecure about her, discussing things with other people who are not her husband? No, I don't think so. I don't think she has to feel like she can't have a discussion or a debate with another human being or a series of human beings just because, she's married. Like, I don't have to, like, she said yes, getting married. Yeah, we're officially married. Married couple talk. Okay. China Candy Couture. China Candy Couture. Okay, how to start a YouTube channel and the truth about being a successful YouTuber a day ago. Okay, here you go, you guys. If I were interested in starting a successful YouTube channel and caring about what the fuck y'all think, maybe I would watch this cool ass video, okay, right here by this person who seems to be interested in being helpful to people. Okay, now let's see. How to not gain weight during holidays. China Couture weight loss tips. Here she is doing her before and after. Oh my God, we can see her midriff. Shouldn't that only be reserved for her husband? Should her husband be upset that his queen is on YouTube making videos to all of these people? She's making videos to the stranger world. She's saying, get ready with me, sleek and sexy. Sexy. She referred to herself as sexy in front of people, but she's married. Like, come on, dude. You're not one to be able to call, how I'm supposed to be able to behave, or, I'm supposed to say, oh, look at this, so much fun in New York. Lisa Ray Flatiron launched birthday party. Is this Lisa Ray and her? They're kissing somebody on the cheek. That's not her husband. Married couple talk, cheating, money problems, in-laws. Look at this, is her husband. But that's not her husband. Oh my God. His queen is on YouTube. Da, 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 da. You asked, we answered. Q&A, real, uncut, adult content language. If you're sensitive profanity, don't watch. Okay, ask us. Look at this, is a lady and her husband talking, and this is also her, making videos where she's at BeautyCon LA, probably meeting other popular YouTubers, talking about, their shoe hauls and their hair tutorials and their makeup tutorials, and they're showing themselves off, like, oh my God, look at NYC mini lookbook, short skirts and skirts, China Candy Couture. Oh my God, I'm gonna click on this, and I swear, if I see that woman's legs, her husband is not defending her. Let's see, China Candy. Oh my God, that skirt is so short. Where is her husband when this video is being filmed? Does her husband realize that she is on YouTube making this video for 14,000 people? Oh my God, wait, 38 people dislike this. That's more dislikes than I've ever gotten on any video ever. Where is her husband to defend her? Man, shut up. And I bet you, okay, you know what? The one negative thing I would say about that video is I don't really like the whole tennis shoes mini skirt look. I think that looks kind of tacky. I like heels with mini skirts because it makes the leg look long and pretty and stuff. And that's just my personal opinion, okay? Nothing against this gorgeous lady. Look how pretty she is. So, look at this gorgeous lady doing her beauty channel, and she obviously is married because, you see her doing her Q&A with her husband and stuff. And, Is her husband supposed to defend her if somebody says something negative about her in her comment section, or if they come along, and give her 38 dislikes? You know, is her husband a punk for not jumping on every single person that comes along and says something negative to her? And I'm sure, she gets a lot of negative shit. Well, let's go ahead and test this. I mean, we can't be sure of what she may delete. But let's see if she talked about anything controversial. You asked, we answered. Well, no, let's do something like where her husband's not present, because we're trying to prove a point to a moron here. It'd be like, well, you looked at a video where her husband was, so nobody's going to say nothing, see, because her husband's there. Or are you suggesting that nobody would dare come to her channel and say anything mean or bad to her because her husband showed up on her channel, and you said that my husband won't get his monkey ass on the screen saying nothing? Let's see. Hold on. Okay, all comments. Oh my God, she has a really got the picture. Okay, all comments. And this is awesome, China. How to find in China? Yeah, you know what? I'm guessing that she probably deletes bullshit. Like, great tips. Thank you, China. Preach. Love you. Yeah, I'm guessing that she keeps the negativity away from her channel. I mean, I would. If I were doing like this, like, I've got a program here and this is monetized, and I have a specific direction. Like, I wouldn't keep a whole bunch of hateful bullshit on my channel anyway. But you get my point, right? What I'm saying is that my husband doesn't have to speak to you fucking losers in order for me to feel like I am properly defended. My husband doesn't have to speak to you losers in order for my child to feel protected, okay? And my husband doesn't have to treat me like a possession or somebody who needs to be instructed by him at every turn in order to show his respect for me. Quite the opposite. I feel like he shows respect for me by showing me that he trusts that I can think for my fucking self. Ugh. And I trust my judgment, If I needed him to go like yell at you guys for me, like, ugh, I don't even want to fucking yell at you guys. I think I've yelled at one of you. I actually yelled, actually raised my voice. And that was at Small J 000, because he once again, like your dumb ass, was trying to spread lies about my child. And I'm like, look at that. I'm sick of you motherfuckers. I'm sick of you. Stop making up things that aren't true. I will gladly debate you over something that's actual. But for you to just be like, hey, Jeannie threw her child off of a 10-story building. I did not do this. For you to continue to say it only means that you've already lost this argument, because you can't debate me on anything factual. You got to make shit up. Okay, trying to get to 25. We're at 23:10. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. This is what you do. And your husband is fine with that. A man is supposed to feel some kind of way when he comes home and he finds his wife with this much time on her hands going, what the fuck? We got more important shit to worry about. We got a child to place. We got a household to run. You got to be on the internet addressing grown men. And then these females that brainwash women, they sit back and support you. They don't say anything to you about this. They never check you because they're just as psychotic as you are. Okay, check this out. You make these 30 and 45 minute and hour long movies complaining about people on the internet all the time. Don't you have bigger fish to fry? Like, stop picking on people for making goddamn YouTube videos. And how come you never have, speaking of people who are parents who have bigger fish to fry, Mr. fucking child support arrests, your Lord and Savior, Tampon Teabags, he does these 6-hour hangouts. He's 6, 8, 9 hours a night. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 hours a night. Not every night, but 3, 4 nights a week. He's doing these yelling at people sessions. You never have a complaint about that. You never talk about how he has too much time on his hands. Well, he's supposed to be making this movie that's never coming out. He didn't have too much time on his hands when he was sitting in your living room talking shit about people on the internet. You know, you guys have bigger fish to fry, so big that you guys just like got together, and you know, he's spending fucking airfare and all of this, you know, travel time to come sit and talk to you about people on the internet. So this guy can spend 6 hours talking about people on the internet, arguing about grown people on the internet, and he's not a bad parent. He never even sees his kids. I can call my daughter right now. If she needs something from me, it's a matter of seconds for her to come to me and ask me for it, and she will do that. And she's not going to feel like she's interrupting, you know, this conversation. If she has something to say to me, she's just going to come and say it. And she's going to let me know what her needs are, and I will take care of them, you know. Like, yeah, her laundry, her homework, her nutrition, her hair, questions about life that need to be answered, recreation, you know, when she wants to go somewhere to have fun, or she wants a certain thing that would add to her joy. Oh, mom, they just came out with this. The so-and-so just came out today. The new this just came out today. And my child is not, you know, like shallow and materialistic as you think. She doesn't need every new thing that came out. She has very specialized interests. And when there's a new episode of this, or the new blanks, or the new, you know, it's usually just like, great news. Here's another, you know, collection of art that I can get into. You know, she likes comics. She likes comic books. She likes animation. She likes cartoons. She likes characters, creating characters and drawing characters and character development. You know, so usually when something comes out that she's excited about or wants to be participate in, you know, it's related to stuff like that. So anyway, you're not questioning this person who, you know, sees his child once a year when he wants to act like he's doing something. And he wants to make these videos where he's going in between yelling about weaves and yelling about Black women not being shit and needing to be gassed, and then like talking about how much he loves his daughter and how much, you know, like, come on. Come on. No, my husband, you know, doesn't feel like, you know, he has to hold my hand through all of my YouTube interactions, okay? And I spend my time the way I want to spend it, you know. You spend way more time responding to shit on YouTube than I do. Like, I'm looking at your channel. You spend way more time bitching and moaning. You spend way more time responding to individuals. You spend more time harping on the same subject matter, you know. You Black women, Black women, Black women, Black men, Black men, Black men, Black women, Black women, Black men, Black men. Am I supposed to bitch at you because, you know, all you do, yeah, blah, blah, blah. Dysfunctional nature of Black men, knowing your self-worth as Black men, battles Black women choose, short-term thinking process of Black people, the questionable integrity of Negroes. And you're always like, and you Negroes, and blah, blah, blah. You're making a whole bunch of fucking 45-minute you Negroes videos, and then you're trying to tell me that I got too much time on my hands. You know, like you can't wait to go from the boiler room, you know, to go, you know, or from the train room to go talking about you Negroes, and you want to tell me that, hey, you know, my husband's supposed to come home and tell me that you can't tell Turtleface that he's a dick today, lady, because, you know, that would take away from your parenting. You know, our daughter's not going to get good grades now because you were talking shit about Turtleface. I'm going to tell you again, kid had no trouble pulling her straight A's in her first semester of middle school. In her second semester of middle school, her parents are going to be right there with her like they were for the first semester. They're going to be right there asking her, what kind of homework do you have today? Did you finish your homework? What do you need for your homework? Our parents are going to be doing the homework that's assigned to us, you know, from the teachers, and being involved, you know, with the homework. We're going to do what we need to do for this child like we've been doing because we love her and we care for her. And that includes, you know, kicking the cyber shit out of this fucking asshole who decided that he was going to come along and censor me and call her every name in the book. We've embarrassed the shit out of tampon tea bags. You know, how do I know he's tampon tea bags? How do I know that? You know, because you know, because dummies don't live in this house, okay? So while you're sitting over there with your non-woman and your no children, you do not need to worry about, policing how my husband interacts with his wife and his children, who are very happy people. We have what we need. We have everything that we need, and at least a good half of the things that we want. I mean, at least a half. I'm being conservative in my estimate there, because we don't lack. If the child wants it, she asks for it and her dad gets it. If I want it, I ask for it and the man gets it. If he needs it from me, he asks for it and I do it for him because I love him. We care for each other enough to respect each other's humanity and to treat each other with respect, and to admire and respect and encourage and cultivate each other's strengths. So you're not dealing with any dummies here. My child could out debate you, my husband could out debate you, and I am obviously sitting here out fucking debating you, dude, because you're contradicting yourself at every turn and you don't even fucking hear it. Poking your nose in other people's business, and you've done nothing but discuss other people's business throughout this entire fucking video. All right, I'm trying to get to 25. I'm trying to get there, and I'm gonna get there, and then we're gonna call this a fucking night. Woo, this has been long. Okay, put forth the last video that I put forth. It's not a single one of you have attempted to address none of the serious issues that are brought up in that video. Not a single one. Because at the end of the day, I know why you can't, because you simply can't. There's nothing that you can say that takes away from that argument. And when I'm listening to you females run around, oh yeah, she's kicking y'all ass. She's kicking y'all ass. In what way? Explain how. See, y'all just talking all the time and Babylon and saying nothing. You sound fucking stupid. You make no goddamn sense. You don't have a legitimate purpose for why you're saying what you're saying in the first place, or why you're posting up the silly videos that y'all making in the first place. Y'all got such a problem with guys like me and what I say, and I keep on trying to tell y'all, is that people ain't afraid to tell you what you need to know. Those are not the guys that you need to be concerned with. Those are not the people that you need to be concerned with. Y'all need to be concerned with people that will sit back and watch you make a fool damn out of your damn self and never check you. This is another reason why you got so many single mothers and these single household raising. You know what? That's a different conversation, so let me keep it to you, Jeannie. Okay. And to explain how much of a savage that you really are, you will sit back and encourage anybody to make videos talking about this man, even to the point where, what's his kid's name? Troy Enneagram. There was a point where a 17-year-old boy was making YouTube videos talking about Tommy, and I caught wind of a comment that you posted on his video. And instead of you actually trying to diffuse that young boy from doing what he was doing, you know what, don't get involved with this, don't get caught up with this. What you would sit back and you would encourage this young boy to continue putting himself in grown folks' business. Okay, grown folks' business. How is Turtleface posting videos on YouTube grown folks' business? He yells and screams like an idiot. That's not grown folk acting, and it's not grown folks' business. If a guy wants to come along and make comments about turtles screaming, he can do that. And if it's a 17-year-old, he can do that because this is a public forum. Now, I don't remember what it is that you say that I said to Troy Ingram that was so detrimental, but my comments are up, like they can be researched. Like I don't need cheerleaders. I'm not running around going, yeah, kick Turtleface in his nuts. Like I enjoy kicking him in his nuts myself. I don't need anybody to help me. Like, let me do it. Like, y'all get away, my turn. I don't want anybody to take my turn kicking a bully in the nuts. I want to kick the bully in the nuts. But if somebody else wants to come up and kick the bully in the nuts, I'll watch, Or if somebody wants to ask me, hey, is this the bully? Is this the line for kicking the bully in the nuts? Yeah, where's the bully? Him, that guy right there. He's the bully. Well, how come he's the bully? He's the bully because he did this, that, and the other. You gonna kick him in the nuts? Okay, well, you gotta wait. I got next. Like, I don't know why you're upset at me, leaving comments with Troy Ingram. I remember, Troy, wasn't Troy the one that said nasty comments about his daughter or something like that? I don't encourage stuff like that. Sirloin will tell you I don't encourage stuff like that. I really had falling off with Sirloin. We started to really fall out when he started saying things that were just a little bit too off color. about the dude's mother, talking about having sex with his mother and stuff like that. I'm like, okay, well you know, I like a good joke, but I don't like you really turning this into like, I don't know, like rapist talk about people's family members. That's not cute. I don't think that rape is a good joke, you know. Um, when he first started saying like, you know, Pastor Holy Milk or what or something, he was making this like fake story and suggesting that he had a romance with her or something like that. But you know, all those little fake like, oh, I'm doing your mom stories, you know, they're really, yeah, they're borderline rapey. I don't encourage shit like that. So if you're trying to suggest I encourage something negative from the Troy kid, I challenge you to, you know, bring up exactly what that was. Like, tell me exactly what I said to that kid and exactly what the result was that made it so that I'm this savage, as you called me. You know, you just said I'm savage. You know, Turtleface is not a savage for saying that black women need to be Auschwitzed. He's not a savage for saying that I can't stand seeing little black girls, even though he has one. He's not a savage for saying that I hope that you, I hope that, you know, what did he say? I hope that you die a slow, nasty ass death, and I hope that I'm the one that causes it. You know, he's not a savage for that. He's not a savage for yelling and screaming at the top of his lungs at strangers just because they disagree with like his flimsy arguments and his silly, you know, poorly made points. That guy's not a savage. That's your hero. That's your friend. That's the guy that you were fucking sitting next to who was giggling next to you in his salmon shirt, you know, where you guys are sitting there wasting your time talking about other YouTubers when you got bigger fish to fry. That's not your savage. I'm the savage because, you know, maybe I went up to Tori Ingram and said, ha, or maybe I went up to him and said, you know, here's some more information about this person. Like, this guy is an idiot. He is a jerk. He is a fraud. He will stalk you. He will slander you. He will false flag you. And he's a dick. So if that's what you're calling him, good call. You know, good one. You got that one right. You know, like what's wrong with me, you know, going up to people and saying things like that. So yeah, anyway, you know, we got to 25 minutes. Like, this concludes perusing Aquine's whiny bullshit. He looks very upset, and I would be too if I were as dim. I am done with this one. And I will get back at it some other time. I don't know about tomorrow. I don't think I can handle it tomorrow, but maybe Tuesday. But I need to get to Low Aptitude's little opie. You know, he put up some video, yeah, Thirsty Genie or Genie's Thirst or something, like the Thirst of Genie burlesque or whatever it is that he said. So yeah, I need to respond to that one, and it probably won't take as long because the video is not as long, and I can get through Low Aptitude's phrases a little bit more quickly, you know, because he is not he's not as stupid as Aquini when it comes to how he presents his arguments, but he is, like, you know, full of shit and contradictory in his own way. So we'll get into that after I finish this thing with Aquini, but I think I did a pretty good job sticking out there. I got to 25 fucking minutes. 25 minutes, 30 seconds. That means I only got about 7 minutes left. So I hope that all the good people are having a good night. I hope that all the haters are getting their comeuppance. And peace out.